Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. My name is Finnick, joined on the desk today by Gopherino, and we are getting ready for the first of two matches tonight, this one being the lower bracket final. It's a BO1 between Team 2, coached by Coach B-Roos, and Team 3, coached by Peyton Tucker. Gopherino, how are we feeling going into tonight's broadcast?
Definitely a little bit surprised since this is a little bit of a last-minute call-up on me, so it's going to be an interesting experience. Going to be see a lot of new things tonight, so I am excited to see what does happen here on the Rift tonight, Finnick.
As am I. Obviously, two-day tournament. It's a draft tournament, so you had coaches, they drafted players, and now we are into the last two matches of the night. BO1 going to be the first one. That will be the lower bracket finals, and the winner will face off against Team 4. That was coached by, let me double check my notes here, coached by Fruitcake in the grand finals. As to how the teams got here, Coach B-Roos and Team 2, they got knocked down in the upper bracket finals by Fruitcake after they had previously won up against Team 1, which was Joe Seiden. Meanwhile, though, Peyton Tucker, Team 3, was knocked down to the lower bracket by Fruitcake Team 4 in round number 1, and then they beat Joe Seiden in the first round of the lower bracket to make it here. So both teams currently sitting at a 1-1 overall record, and we are just about ready to go. Players currently getting in order in the lobby, as you do. What are we looking forward to in this first match?
Obviously, the players getting in order. Obviously, to see the first draft happen on here, Finnick, because it is still preseason, of course. There's still a lot of change going around. People are still figuring out some things here and there. So we might see some new things tonight. We might see some old things, because you took note yourself that both these top players, they do kind of eye up that Aatrox. And then also in the support role here, Leona, definitely going to be a little bit of a contested pick, I would feel.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think both these junglers have been playing a little bit of Talia. Obviously, she got buffed in this most recent patch. We were discussing it a little bit before stream. Where does she actually fit into the meta? We think she's a little bit fringe, I think is what we came up with. But, still potentially a viable pick, seeing these AP junglers. Also on the list of junglers, we've seen Rengar being played by both in solo queue and in flex queue and in Norms. So potentially we see that. Maybe we still go back to Graves. Maybe we go back to Kindred. I mean, it's a whole host of things. It's preseason. Interestingly enough, though, my bird, Anivia, not played by either mid laner. I am very sad.
Yeah, I mean, Anivia did even get a hotfix nerf, because the last set of buffs to, kind of compensate for the removal of one of your core items in that Rod of Ages, and then, of course, was kind of overall considered a very heavy nerf to Seraph's Embrace on her as well. She got massive buffs, and then it turned out, all right, we kind of went a little too far, so they had to rein that back on in. However, though, definitely still a strong, viable pick here in the mid lane, and definitely something we might want to keep an eye out for as a potential pick, since it is relatively new, so maybe these players haven't really played as much on their mains, maybe a little bit on their alts, who knows, but we are into that pick and ban. Pantheon immediately taken off the board. No real surprise there, it's just how potent he is in several lanes.
Yeah, and the support position as well as mid lane, we see one support. I believe that was Jizolt, plays quite a bit of Pantheon in support, and we did see a little bit of Pantheon mid lane from one of the mid laners as well. I believe that was Fat and Sweaty, but I'm not sure. Regardless, Katarina being taken off the table here, that one being Fat and Sweaty's #1 pick. Overall in solo queue, we noticed that one being very, very prominent, and the Rek'Sai and Heimerdinger being taken off the table. Rek'Sai going to be targeted over towards the jungle side here from Peyton Tucker. Plays quite a bit of Rek'Sai. Heimerdinger towards that bottom lane, actually, with the Leona and Nautilus being banned out. It will be the first pick, Misfortune.
And that is a pick we were noticing that Team 2's AD carry had been picking here. That alongside the Heimerdinger, I'm wondering what Team 3 is going to use to respond here. The Jhin obviously still on the table, obviously still very popular. Or we might even see something else. No, it's going to be the Jhin. All right. And it's going to be paired with the Bard, interestingly enough, with all these engage supports taken off the table here, Fennec just resorting to a very heavy trading lane with that Jhin Bard.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those cases where you focus a lot on these poke lanes, right? In the current meta, right? You have Misfortune and Jhin, both of whom are very strong with lethality. Jhin has been kind of shifting over towards crit a little bit recently as well. But you have this double poke lane with the, Bard, with the Seraphine, both of whom have heavy amounts of poke. I'm not a huge fan of Seraphine as a champion, but regardless, I do think this could go either way, but I want to know what your thoughts are here.
And it's kind of interesting you say that you still don't put the highest priority on the Seraphine, because obviously I agree that it's probably not going to be the giga meta pick that you have to lock in B1 every game if Red Side doesn't ban it. However, though, it is, of course, a good flex pick because you can put it mid, you can put it support here, and there have even been cases of where you put it as a carry in the bot lane. However, though, locking it in this early, I'm inclined to say that's probably going to be going bot lane with that Misfortune just for a little bit of wombo combo. But we'll have to see here, Finnick.
Indeed, we shall. I mean, I don't really think Seraphine's good in the mid lane, to be honest. I know she was designed to be a mid laner, but I don't know.
In between, yeah. Because it's like one of the champion designs where they're like, all right, we're going to design them so they can be played here and here. And then one of those lanes / roles just happens to be much better for the other, and they have to nerf it due to that role or change it due to that role, and it makes it much harder to play in the other role. We've seen it with Tom Kench because he was originally designed to be a top and support flex. However, though, whenever he's met a top lane, top laners are very #Satch. Either way, though, a lot of big, important engage picks and damage picks being taken off here in this second round of bans so far.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Ornn ban here. It's one of the few kind of tank top laners that we see either top laner play, the other one being Shen. Aatrox has not been taken off the table, but if you pick Aatrox, you're going to get Nurgot in the other lane, right? That's just how it works. But with the Malphite being hovered here, ooh, I'm not necessarily against this when you see an Olaf, but I typically prefer Malphite as R5 if you're picking it on red side. And with the Malphite pick here, you can pick a heavy AP mid laner and potentially an AP top laner as well to counterpick them. But with the Shen pick, this is a little bit dicey. I think Malphite actually gets the better end of that matchup if he goes for the Arcane Comet. But I want to know what your thoughts are if this gets locked in.
I haven't seen how Shen really functions for the most part in top lane so far this preseason, because obviously it did get shaken up quite a bit with the itemization changes. I don't think Shens go for the Titanic Hydra as much anymore. Feel free to correct me though if I'm wrong.
No, they don't.
Because I know Sunfire is very good on him. Also the Iceborne Frostfire, that one. People also like that. Either way, though, I do agree. The R4 Malphite here was kind of a little bit dicey-ish, because if you had seen they had two major AD threats already, let's say you see a Misfortune, let's say you also see a Graves, then you know automatically that Malphite will have insane value this game. But with the current lock-ins, there is going to be a lot of magic damage threats targeting his weaker magic resist stats. So, although Xerath is locked in here, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but you play him, right, Finnick?
No, I don't. That is
okay.
not one that I play.
In your champ pool.
No. See, the thing is, I'm an Anivia player. I don't play counters to Anivia. Xerath is one such counter. I hate that matchup. It sucks. It's terrible. And it's being picked into the mid lane here for the Orianna. This is going to be a very poke-centric lane, right? Orianna can basically zone any mid laner off of the wave if she doesn't get outranged. Xerath, one of those mid laners that does have additional range with which he can CS, that being in his queue. At the same time, though, I think it's a little bit difficult to deal with the Orianna regardless. You're going to have to be using your Q to CS in the lane. You can't really do right clicks because Orianna will just send you off of the ball. So I could see this lane going either way. I think late game, right, when we take a look at what the damage numbers will look like, it really comes down to can Orianna actually find ball delivery versus can Xerath, take these kind of scrappier fights that Xerath's good at, stay kind of in the back or on these flanking positions.
And that ball delivery aspect was something I was kind of eyeing up here, Finnick, when I was looking at Team 2's draft here. Because obviously, Misfortune, Seraphine, Orianna, that is an absolutely insane wombo combo with all their ultis. If you land those, just all three of those, you will melt the entire enemy team. But like you said, there is going to be that slight question of ball delivery here, because the Olaf can be kind of ball delivery, but it's very noticeable ball delivery because obviously he just Naruto runs at you and you can react to that. And then, of course, Shen usually going to be teleporting in with that ultimate. So I'm going to be looking at Team 2 here and seeing how they set up this wombo combo here, because this is going to be such a nasty trifecta. Bermuda Triangle, if you will, of ultimates if they do manage to get the Exodia pieces together.
Just take an arm, a leg. I'd never played Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just hopefully understanding how Exodia works.
I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Either, outside of buying packs.
Oh no. Look, I never got into CCGs as a kid. Never got into Pokemon, never got into Yu-Gi-Oh! I barely play Magic. I play Runeterra, though. Runeterra's good.
Really? I thought you always struck me as the kind of guy who'd play Magic.
I mean, I play like Commander with friends, but that's pretty much it. I never got into like heavy constructed or anything. I play meme decks and jank. I play a lot of jank.
I don't respect that. Yeah.
A Nivea Swain. That is the best Runeterra deck. It is the one true jank, and I love it. In-game draft, though, it has completed, so we will be getting in after the spectator delay shortly. So what are your thoughts as we are waiting for that spectator delay for the overall comps here?
I already listed my main thoughts for the Team 2 composition. Just a question of how are they going to set up a consistent wombo combo? How are they looking at Team 3 here? I'm wondering how they're going to decide to initiate their team here. Because obviously you have Malphite, who's like, I am starting a team fight now and we're going in now. But you also have the Jhin, the Bart, the Xerath, who want to kind of like chip away at people, a little bit here, Finnick, just poke them down from range. And I'm thinking what Team 3 kind of wants to do here is use the Jhin, use the Xerath, use the Bard also to a degree to try and chip down the enemy team and set up for a nasty, unstoppable force from PhD in the top lane's Malphite, and then FRXG on this Kha'Zix just going in and getting a bunch of resets. I think that's how they're going to be approaching this game, but it's going to be definitely a hard way to approach this game, I feel.
Yeah, especially when you're up against an Olaf, when you have these kind of mega CC abilities in, the Unstoppable Force from the Malphite or the Tempered Fate, right? I mean, obviously Tempered Fate, you can't R out of that one, but at the same time, you can't do damage to them. So what's the point? Not what's the point. It's very good for it setting up other people's abilities and for disengaging.
Why would you ever use ulti as Malphite? Come on.
No, I was saying as Bard, Tempered Fate, man.
Why would you ever use Bard's ultimate? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Worthless ability.
Yeah,
it doesn't
definitely
even do
worthless. Yeah, it doesn't do damage, puts other people in a place where they can't do damage. No, it's a very good ability. And it's nice to have against Olaf because it basically cuts down the length of his ultimate, right? Mm-hmm. So if he pops R, you pop Tempered Fate. You can't get out of that one with his ultimate or with the Olaf ultimate, so it'll be shortened down for the duration of the Tempered Fate, which can be useful. But at the same time, right, Olaf with the Ragnarok can stop an unstoppable force from happening, and he's able to go back in onto these squishies, right? You only have one tank, that being the Malphite, and he doesn't really have too much in the way of peel up against an Olaf, right? Because he can't generate terrain. His Q will not slow down the Olaf. So then you're thinking, okay, what's the form of self-peel? I mean, it's basically how do you do damage to the Olaf here? We have the ability to remove some of his healing in the game through Grievous Wounds. Now everyone has a cheap Grievous Wounds item that they can get. Oblivion Orb now does that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't think this Olaf pick is something that Team 3 really doesn't have an answer to.
Yeah, it's going to be something we have to see as we get into game, because both these team comps, they are going to be having very bursty team fights when they go for them, very short team fights. Although, of course, Team 3 going to be of course, playing it a little bit longer with the poke game, but I think that's just going to be an answer we have to see once we get into game here, Finnick.
Indeed, it shall. But before we get into the game, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we will be right into the first game of the night for the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome all and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. My name is Finnick, joined on the desk today by Gopherino, and we are in the lower bracket finals. How are we feeling going into this best of one?
And I'm not entirely sure here, to be honest, because We do see a lot of common picks here. I mean, we've been seeing so much Malphite recently, so much MF Jin recently. Kha'Zix has been pretty popping off in solo queue, but other than that, a lot of somewhat newish picks to me, at least in the context of the preseason. So, new experience. That's always cool. I don't know. How are you feeling here, Finnick? There's no Anivia, so I assume it's definitely not completely dandy.
No, it's all right. Look, the Anivia hot nerfs, they didn't really do too much. They removed 10 damage from the E, still has 60% AP scaling. And the mana cost went up, but it still costs less than it did.
Yeah.
Is the key there. Instead of being 40 at all levels, it's 50 at all levels. It's better than the 90 mana that it cost once it was at level 5. So, still totally fine. You can still spam it in lane, but we're not talking about Anivia. We're talking about Orianna and Xerath, two of my least favorite champions in the game to play against, but definitely champions that every mid laner should know, at least the Orianna, as both junglers started on the blue side of the map and will be going for at least blue Gromp, if not full clear on these blue sides. Both of these junglers want to get a little bit of levels in before they go for the ganks because they don't really have too much in the way of setup for a level 2 or level 3. It will be the full clear blue side from both junglers.
And that's definitely going to be interesting because both these junglers, the Olaf and Kha'Zix, especially early on, they both have pretty decent and nasty-ish counter gank potential. However, though, since they don't have that immediate Giga-Hard CC, their actual ganks can be somewhat lacking if they don't get set up. Thankfully, a lot of these lanes will have some form of setup for them. So we'll just have to see, because obviously I'm expecting the Olaf to outfarm here a decent bit in the early game.
Something of note here is Fleet Footwork was being taken on Sindelian on the Jhin. This does, to me, say that he's probably going to go for the crit build because he doesn't have the Dark Harvest. Protoss, meanwhile, though, she's got Arcane Comet, and that will mean the lethality build, most likely. We'll see which lethality item the MF decides to go into. 2 minutes to first dragon. That will be the Mountain Dragon. Junglers complete their clear on the red side.
So full clear coming out from both just before the scuttles come up too, so they won't be interacting either since they're on opposite sides of the map. And this is going to be a very calm early game. Of course, when we look at most of the lanes here, we aren't expecting anything too hyper aggressive outside of maybe this bot lane if Poop Monster and Sindelian are able to get a nice little CC chain into burst. However, Caster's Curse is FRXG. He is in the top lane.
Chuck, able to find a taunt, though, into a QW. And mitigates all the damage without flashing. Excuse me there. So, gank doesn't really get anything out there. Also, to note, the Kha'Zix went for Conqueror, so this could be Gore Drinker. Potentially instead of lethality. We'll check in on that one.
Root.
Very nice route, in fact. Sindelian down to 200 health. And, Seraphine, not my favorite champion in the game, but at the same time, very nice up against this Bard matchup. I think, both want to poke, but Gisult has a bit more sustain than Poop Monster does, just so long as the shrines aren't down, right?
Yeah, and thing is, so I wonder if Poop Monster here is going to be able to get those infamous Bard roams off, since Bard, he is definitely very favored for roaming just due to the passive where you collect the meeps. And then, of course, you have really good roaming tools in that magical journey. As a little bit of counter jungling early from Doubtful. Not going to matter too much, but hey, it's going to piss off FRXG a little bit when he goes to see his wolves, or wolf. Oh no, I only took Grump. Never mind that. Caster, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. I mean, he is out jungling with a bit faster farming and a bit faster clear. Obviously, the gank top lane didn't really help as much with FRXG. But this is to be expected, right? Olaf just has a better clear in the early levels. As FRXG, once he gets the first evolution, will feel quite a bit nicer. Probably going to look for a gank as well. Along the lines of the mid lane, I would assume potentially bot lane, but it's so hard to gank the Seraphine.
Yeah, unless you're able to, of course, get a Cosmic Binding from the Bard onto that Seraphine into the Jhin Deadly Flourish. That, of course, will make this Seraphine very easy to kill since she is one of the squishiest champions in the game. And especially now that FRXG has that completed Dirk in his inventory, he's going to be able to definitely shred through a lot of these very low armor targets in Fat and Sweaty and Protoss and Gazult, at least for now. But like you said, it is going to be tricky to gank a lot of them if there is optimal vision. Never mind that, we have a gank in the bot lane.
Shock has ult, the root lands on it, Gazult is going to flash out of the way. Nope, Shen ults in. And, you know, it's a Shen ult being used as well as a flash on Gazult and the heal on Protoss, but it's no kills, and this does actually give dragon priority over to the Olaf because they have more down on the bottom side of the map. So they do get a dragon for the Shen ult without anything really gotten in return outside of sums for Team 3.
And that is definitely absolutely crucial. FRXG, he is hovering around this area, and it looks like we are seeing some pings from him. Oh, there's the dragon dying. There's the right of the arcane as FRXG gonna be slowed up.
Yep.
I think he's fine.
He's totally fine, and Shock's back top lane. You know, he misses out a little bit on CS, but he's out CSing the Malphite anyway. So PhD in the top lane, meanwhile, we haven't really been talking about. He went for the Arcane Comet, which, you know, is the appropriate room for this matchup. But at the same time, Shock's been doing a very good job of wave management, making it basically impossible for the Malphite to CS with anything that isn't named Q. And with that, Shock's been able to get this lead for himself. He's winning these short trades as well through use of the Grasp of the Undying, right? PhD in top lane really can't do much after expending that Q in lane up against the Shen, and there we go.
Yeah, and I like that point about the CS because you have to remember that also FRXG did visit that top lane, did force Shock to go back and probably miss about roughly a wave of CS. So even with that small advantage from his jungler, he is down that 20 CS. We do have this Olaf in the top lane. He does have this Ragnarok here if they want to go for this.
Well, they land the taunt back into the W. Unstoppable Force going to be used. Ragnarok was already pumped, and that's going to be first blood. Nicely done from PhD in the top lane to get the outplay. Shock should be able to channel that back, though, as he tries to TP. He finds it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, well. That was an outplay and a half.
And that's a only level 6 Olaf for you with just an Iron Spike whip and no tankiness to speak of. So he got absolutely shredded by that turret, and Shock not having the Stand United there, it kind of really hurt. Props to PhD in the top lane for keeping a cool head, able to just use that Unstoppable Onslaught to get out of there. This isn't going to be the end of the world, of course, because it's not like there's going to be any major objectives they lose out on here because Doubtful did die. However, though, it's definitely going to be a moral blow and going to help PhD in the top lane at least keep kind of even here. If we want to take a look at the gold here, Nick, because even though he is down majorly in CS, basically dead even in gold, quite literally, just thanks to that one kill that was first blood.
Yeah, and Unstoppable Force being down, you know, does mean he can't really make any of those types of plays at the moment, but Shock about to get Stand United back up. Might be looking to use that once again in the bottom lane as we see Olaf hovering around, who's about to get Ragnarok back up, but is on a relatively short cooldown. Interestingly, right, so despite the conch being picked up on the Kazakhs, this will be the lethality pick. We kind of already touched on this. Gore Drinker going to be the mythic of choice for the Olaf, as Orianna will be going into the Ludens, most likely Ludens on the Xerath as well. MF, though, going to get a Mana Mune in addition to whatever her first item is. I'm going to assume it's going to be Duskblade, but could be Eclipse. Could be a lot of things,
it's been
actually.
Eclipse more so. Shock, though, has to be careful because here's FRXG. He should just die here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he expended Flash, but he already had Taunt down, so a dead Shen means lane pressure going over to this Malphite, and the kill going on to the Kazakhs is very, very nice indeed. He's at level 7, so he has his first evolution. If we can get a check on what exactly he evolved.
Doesn't tell us, I think. Unless we look at him.
I
think that's Q evolution. Those look longer to me because I don't see the wings on him. And I don't remember the base color for this skin, so I don't know if that's an R evolve.
Perhaps. Fat and Sweaty, though. He's getting 3v1'd in the mid lane. Senior gonna give a pop. Tries to find the flash to the burrow, but he won't as the Tempered Fate comes in. And Shock will be able to pick up the kill under the Bard in the meantime, but the Orianna goes down. Stun not gonna land from Jizu. We see Downfall coming in. Jizult's around as well. Gonna get a sleep down. No, just the charm. Now FRXG barely getting out of that one, as a stun was a swing and a miss from Jizu. So it will be the kill onto the Orianna in exchange for the Bard, and you know, I think that's totally fine for Team 3. You get the kill onto the mid laner, you only lose your support there, and make your way out alive as a Xerath.
And in the end, it is a 1-for-1, which is definitely very nice, being able to equalize that, and you know, equalize that. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought I had something else to say other than equalize, but you guys can have a double equalize there. The 1 kill going over to Shen versus the 1 kill going over to the Xerath. However, Jisoo will probably going to be benefiting more from that kill, as he is going to be getting close to completing that mythic, and he will be able to poke down really hard, even though a lot of the enemy team will have like some form of sustain thanks to the Seraphine. Just Xerath's poke is kind of dummy.
Very. FRXG, he's got Dustblade, so should be able to find a kill on a Fat and Sweaty. House Command Protect. Ignite, though, it lands from Jizult, and Jizult will get the kill. Jizu now chased upon by Doubtful, who has not popped Ragnarok and doesn't need to. He gets the kill. Protoss now caught up by the W. Go ahead and flash over the wall. This will be the Ocean Dragon going over to Team 2. Their second neutral objective of the game, their second dragon of the game, in fact. Curtain Call gonna be popped here as they try to maybe find a 4th shot. Bullet time, though, on a Syndition. Chunks him out for most of his health, and he ends up having to pop heal. If he stood still for 1 second longer, that was just a dead Jhin. Oh no, the blast code in place. Monster's gotta be very careful. That fool still has ulti. Will be the Infernal Drake for the soul this game, and no additional kills go over.
The singular Ocean Dragon is actually going to mean a little bit this game, as memey as it sounds. Oh no, Doubtful.
How's the Ragnarok? He's able to get a kill on a poop monster using the magical journey. Now gets so much healing in, but Sindillion was able to get a crit. As he does have the Noon Quiver.
Man.
Oh, that doesn't give crit. That's just a big auto attack. All right.
Gore Drinker. It's a hell of an active here. As you saw how much he healed there.
Yeah, he almost survived there. Sindillion just didn't have the burst. Speaking of, this will be the crit build. Most likely going to be the Immortal Shield Bow, I think, based on what he's got with the Noon Quiver and the pickaxe.
Actually, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but Gale Force is typically what you see.
Is it? Okay.
FRXG, like the Protoss.
Ult from Jizult going to be a swing and a miss.
I've got dips and dives, but no root.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Right there, you know. That's how it works.
And I guess to get back to my point from half a minute ago, I guess, about this singular Ocean Dragon, it's actually going to be somewhat handy against this Team 3 composition, since the Jhin, the Xerath, will kind of want to poke you out and wear you down. Having that extra regen, no matter how minor, will of course help you against that. Of course, it's not going to make or break the game here, and I'm probably overanalyzing this. However, though, I just kind of want to bring that up about the single dragon buff. Make myself sound smart, I guess.
I mean, it's really nice to have if you have these kind of drain tanks with the Olaf, of course. So you were right. Gale Force going to be completed on the Jhin. The early Monamune from the MF. You know, this could actually be crit. Now that she went for the early legendary instead of mythic, she has the option to do that if she wants to potentially get some more damage in onto this Malphite late.
Yeah,
I think either build could work here.
I have seen MFs go for actually like a mix of it, so it's of course varied because MF, whenever lethality is viable on her, crit's also still viable, and it does give her an amount of flexibility, which is always nice due to her ulti being able to crit. All right, and so we might see some like weird hybrid build here with like 40 or 60% crit possibly, and then just like some of the standard lethality goodie bag goodness.
I mean, Collector gives 20% and lethality, right?
God, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
God bless the Collector. I love that item. I know the passive XP on it, it's just kind of like a bait passive, and it doesn't usually matter all that much, but still, just kind of cool whenever I kill someone and there's the 999 true damage, and I gotta say, you got Collectored.
Yeah.
Plus, also, the stats are really good, but...
Luden's Tempest completed on the Oriana in the meantime, as Xerath coming close to that item as well. So Shen, this is actually going to be the Titanic Hydra after the completion of the Sunfire Aegis here. Because he has the Tiamat. Obviously no Tiamat active, but it helps with the wave clear. And it helps him basically keep on pace as the farm acceleration is real for Malphite going into the mid game. He gets taunted up though by Shock, as you see the ult, double ult in fact on a Poop Monster, but a good tempered fate to keep Poop Monster alive. Still getting the stuns up. The ult getting channeled by the Shen that might be looking for the turn. It's 1-for-1 thus far. The taunt lands down onto Zendilion. He's trying to get onto Jizzle, and he will. Now FRXG, he's here. The root lands. Shock gonna flash forward, gets the kill off the Q, but here comes Xerath. He's gonna pop the ultimate. One more will do it, and it's a 3-4-2 in favor of Team 3 in the bottom lane.
And that was such an extended affair there. Of course, that means Doubtful is going to be plopping down this first rift out of the game into the mid lane here, and that could just pick up Team 2 here, that first tower, and they're able to get first tower here, which it most certainly looks like it. This is going to actually go in their favor, because they get the 2 kills for 3, waste a bunch of time for the enemies, and then they get that extra pot of gold from cracking open that first cold one with the boys here in the mid lane. However, though, they have PhD in the top lane, hovering around. There is no Ragnarok available, so they can look to aggress on this. We have a Infernal Dragon here, first of the game, up in about 10 seconds here, Finnick.
Yeah, and as that timer ticks down, Team 3 has priority for this dragon, so they will be starting it up, but the Misfortune is around, making rain down into the pit. Doubtful about to get his back up, as you were saying, and Shockwave is available. They have ball delivery in the form of the Shen. Shock on the side of the fight, might be looking for XG.
Look at this picture.
The engage happens. Shock, he's able to find the enemy jungler, and that spells go time. A 3-man Shockwave lands. Poop Monster goes down. PG to the top lane. The next one to fall, as everybody gets wiped off this map. Save FRXG and Jizuwu. Jizuwu has some damage in the form of the Q, but gonna pop the ultimate. Might be trying to find Jizolt. Dodging out.
Oh, okay.
He gets a kill.
But he
almost duck dive, dip, dodge,
look
and
at the Shen flank, though.
I mean, it's still a 3-for-1 in favor of Team 2, and they grab the first Infernal Dragon of the game. That's sole point for them.
Dun 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 dun.
What? No, nope. Jizzy was just dead. I thought for a second he had like the biggest brain of outplays, but he missed the stun, and that was GG.
Yeah, just that fight went so poorly there for Team 3. They weren't able to get a lot of their poke down in time, sadly. And even though the enemy team was missing a lot of ultimates, they had some of the key ones. Oh, Protoss. He's going in, dude. And
with the Blast Cone, I have to make his way out, though, as Peachy in top lane is heading over. Does have the Unstoppable Force, and if he gets it on a Protoss, it could just be a dead Misfortune, but she's going to strut away.
Yeah, it doesn't have the flash ulti available, sadly, which kind of sucks here, and that kind of brings me back to another good point of the Unstoppable Force wasn't available in that dragon fight, and I feel like had that at least been up, it would have helped Team 3 here a good amount. I don't know if it would have won them the team fight here in a perfect world, perhaps so, but it probably would have evened the playing field a lot there, because when they eat that giant 3-man Shockwave onto 3 of their key members, if they just eat all that damage from other sources too, it's gonna hurt Finnick. Like, it's gonna really, really hurt.
And what else hurts right now? This Oriana. In that 3-man Shockwave, now sitting at 2, 1, and 5 at the moment. Highest KP in the game with 7, tied with the Seraphine. Second highest net worth, though, on the team, or third highest, excuse me, slightly behind the MF. But at the moment, the Olaf, he's got a Steric Stage and a Gore Drinker completed. Highest CS in the game, as well as the highest net worth. 350 gold bounty on his head.
God.
Oh, man.
Because the changes to Sterics in the preseason were actually, like, very massive for its tankiness. Never mind that. We can talk about that after. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Right. FRXG, though, oh no, you can't find that man, and here comes the Stand United. FRXG down, and Shock ends up picking up the kill with the taunt. Now Poop Monster falls to the axe. Doesn't matter about the curtain call. As Protoss takes his top tower, they're going to move on to the Baron as it just spawned 50 seconds ago, and with 3 members down, Team 3 cannot contest it.
This is... Okay, they're not going for the... They actually are. Okay, yeah. With how fed this Olaf is, like, it's definitely a little bit dicey. However, though, Protoss does have the completed Muramana right now. Is looking towards either the Gale Force or the Kraken Slayer. I assume it's gonna be Gale Force. Either way, though, a 21-minute Baron is kind of insane, and we even have Shock on the back here, just playing puppy guard duty. They're gonna be 5-manning this bot lane. Fat and Sweaty, I hope you are Zoomy and Boomy, I guess? I don't know.
I mean, Command Protect, Command Dissonance is enough to keep him alive.
He still has ulti, though.
Tempered Fate. Gonna be a second miss and a Command Dissonance, but there is the ult from the Malphite. Unstoppable Force is, of course, unstoppable. And Sendition picks up the kill. 550 gold in his pocket as the Archangel Staff gets completed by Fat and Sweaty.
And that's definitely going to be a much needed pickup there. Obviously, giving one of your carries that shutdown, they're going to very much appreciate that. But then also, just due to the fact that they're down in this game by this massive amount, 8k at this point, 9k, even 8k. Never mind that, we have a fight.
It's on a Protoss. Charm not going to land, though, as Jizzle would not keep FRXG at bay. No kills, but quite a few summoners blown here. Protoss with the flash and heal down will be vulnerable in the next fight.
And that's going to be kind of key here, because Team 3, while they definitely are on the back foot here, I mean, it doesn't take a silver armchair analyst from Reddit here, Finnick, to point out that maybe a 8k difference is a little bit big when we're talking about 22.5 minutes into the game. And stalling out that Baron is going to be all the more worthwhile here, because it means they're going to be able to siege your turrets less. It means they're going to be able to pick up less of the standing gold on the map, and it's gonna at least give you a little bit more of a fighting chance at contesting this dragon in 30 seconds. Poop Monster, though, not Poop Master. I don't know if we have any masters of poop here. Either way, though, oh, he's dodging that just barely. Very nice of... Never mind.
Oh, here comes Jizzle, and down goes Poop Monster. PH in the top lane, gonna use the Unstoppable Force defensively. Flash for flash. Ragnarok was also popped there. But without Poop Monster, they don't have Tempered Fate. They can't really stop this dragon except if FRXG can get a steal down. They don't have Unstoppable Force either. His ult very low. Xerath's gonna pop the ultimate, tries to find the kill onto the support. 4th shot will hit. And to the 3rd shot from the Jhin.
Shen ulti is up.
Doubtful, though. He's already into the pit. Right now it's a 3 versus 4 in the 3-man shockwave back into the MF bullet time. Doubtful now, chasing on a Jizuwu. Double kill for the Orianna, and as you mentioned, that is over. Infernal Soul going over to Team 2. Coach Beerus looking to make their way to the Grand Finals BO3 up against Team 4. Oh, the taunt flash. That's styling right there.
Like, yeah, this is just over right now. They still have a bit of Baron buff here. They have the soul. They have this massive gold lead. The game is literally their oyster for the taking here, Finnick, and like, it's going to be so hard here for the Team 3 composition to make any sort of realistic comeback outside of Team 2 just massively flundering up. Like, Team 2 just decide, you know what? Dignitas around Baron, that's what we want to be, because it's just that hard to throw right now. Look at PhD in the top lane. Most tanky member on their team. Taken down.
Oh, what? What is the damage? It's just off the Shen taunt plus a little bit of follow-up. Ragnarok gonna get popped as the Tempered Fate basically did nothing in that fight. FRXG has to jump out of the way. Shutdown lands on the Olaf goes down. Shock trying to find his way on FRXG. Won't be able to find the taunt of Protoss, so goes on the killing spree. So picks up the kill on to the enemy Bard. FRXG, though, he's looking for Shock. Feels out with the Q, but he can't find the follow-up damage, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Team 2 in the base, but they lose their jungler, and they stop the push.
And Team 3, they're able to hold it off here, kind of, but at what cost is really the question here, because it's a 2-for-1. You still lose 2 inhibitors. The enemy team can just look to honestly just so easily pincer you here, because the Orianna MF is going to be scaling generally harder, I want to say, compared to the Xerath Jhin here. And God, like both carries here for Team 2, they have 3 completed main items. Whereas on the enemy team, this Xerath, this Jhin, both of them only on 1.5 completed items. That's going to be such a noticeable difference here, Finnick, when we're talking about these team fights, because that poke is going to be hurting a lot less. That actual any potential burst they have is going to be hitting so much less, because you saw how much it took to kill that Olaf through Sterik's Gauge, through Gore Drinker, now even has that Death Stance. I don't know why I randomly forgot that name there for a second, but it's just going to be so hard here, I feel, for the side of Team 3 to really execute, really capitalize on their team comp with how far behind they are.
Yeah. Doubtful, Protoss and Jizzle. Might find PhD in the top lane. He has ultimate available. Will use it to dodge out the Seraphine ultimate. FRXG, though, he's able to get quite a bit of damage on our Protoss, but the Tempered Fate actually saves the enemy carry. And now Jhin ends up popping the ultimate, and he's able to get 2 kills for his troubles as the ult comes in from the Xerath. Now into the Shockwave. They find one, but they won't be able to find the follow-up damage. But here comes Olaf. The Surge Gate gets procs, but he's getting taken out by the Jhin regardless. Double kill for Syndition. 4 for 1 for Team 3, and they are not out of this one quite yet. Still 9,000 gold down, but the Baron is spawning in 19 seconds without the Olaf up to contest.
And I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of looking away from the screen there because I thought this game was a done deal, but here is Team 3 just showing up with that very clutch 4 for 1 there. If they're able to get the Baron here, that is going to be absolutely so massive. There's only 2 enemy team members up really right now. However, though, we do also have to kind of consider their Baron DPS is, well,
they have Jhin.
DPS, yeah, it's Jhin, Xerath. Like, Kha'Zix can, like, kind of get through it, but...
There ain't no Anivias on this team. No Cassiopeias.
Yeah.
No Vanya's. No Kanye's.
And, yeah, now the enemy team's just grabbing the Baron here. Team 2, they're just looking to 2-man it here with Gazult and Protoss. It's still doing a doozy on them. Shock is here around the corner. They do have Fan Sweaty, so it is going to be team effort, thankfully.
I mean, I think the highest Baron DPS member on any team is doubtful, if I'm being honest.
Probably, with how fed he is. And,
yeah, he's got a Death Stance now, too. It's Olaf.
Yeah, because they removed the Omnivamp from Death Stance, which was absolutely massive. They did replace it, though, with one key thing. Never mind, Gazult gonna be caught out a little bit. There's the Kern call.
Tempered Fate into Jhin and Xerath ultimates. Gazult can't not find much as Jizuwu picks up the kill. Now Poo Monster, he's cutting out of the way. They are so deep, and Shock ends up falling, as does the Kha'Zix, but it's 2 for 1. Doubtful. He has ultimate. Might be looking for the flank here. PhD in the top lane, though. He has to make his way back. He doesn't have ultimate. The flash Q on Fat and Sweaty. They won't be able to find the Jhin W, though. They have to try kiting out of the way, but Fat and Sweaty, he's so low, barely able to survive as he goes golden, and Poop Monster falls. Doubtful, though, last cut over the wall. Here. He's trying to find his way on a Sindillion. The crit hits, but Jizuwu, he's able to get the kill into the Orianna. Sindillion gets the kill onto the Misfortune, and now Doubtful, he's the only member of his team left in the base. He still has the Baron minions as the Seraphine respawns. He's going to get rooted up by the Jhin. Sindillion just needs to get one more auto attack down on a Doubtful. He tries to heal up, gets the Gorgeaker proc, but in comes the W of the Xerath to pick up the kill as the respawns begin happening for the inhibitors. Top inhib tower falls, but the mid inhib respawns, and the bot one respawning in a second as well. 11 seconds now on this Elder Dragon, 36 seconds on the Olaf, and it looks like the throws from Team 2 might be just enough for Team 3 to snatch the victory.
Potentially, we'll have to see if they're able to scare this Elder Dragon here. Both their downed inhibs did respawn, which is absolutely massive here. Gazult gonna nearly dodge out that Tempered Fate. He's gonna also have to dodge that Cosmic Binding here, potentially, as... There it is. There's the root. This should be a very dead... Yep.
It is. And this is just dead. Elder... Olaf cannot make it to this fight in time, despite the fact that they have relatively low DPS. The only way you're going to be able to contest is with a massive shockwave on a ball delivery. Looks like they're going to try contesting from over the wall.
They can look for this.
Oh, but here comes Malphite. He's able to get onto the carries. And that's past the ultimate. He's able to get the kill on the FXG, though. And the Dragon is barely able to go down in favor of Team 3. But it's a 2-4-3 regardless in favor of Team 2.
And keep in mind, Team 2, they can just access all these open inhibitors here. There's literally only one Nexus turret available right now, Finnick, and God, they are eyeing that up like it's a snap. Oh, Shock almost able to stop that recall. That would have been so clutch. But Team 2,
that bullet time just shredded through everyone.
What is happening? But I think they just get this mid inhib here and then maybe back off. Maybe look for a double inhib play here. Oh,
I mean, they got stat checked by MF.
Why are you splitting up?
I don't know.
There's the
here comes TP though. From Shock.
Base turret is Giga low if they really want to brute force it here, but look at the respawn timers. Everybody's back up. PhD in the top lane is going to be back up here in just a jiffy, so get out with the double inhib while you can, and man,
this is way too nail-bitey. For 7,000 at 31 minutes, or 8K at 22, that gold lead has not increased.
And
like what?
I was worried how this wonky comp might work here, because you have Jisoo, Lu, and Sindelian really wanting to be long range, really wanting to just absolutely poke down everyone so the Kazakhs can reset, but it's kind of literally been the opposite. Just those two kind of kill everyone from far fence. Sweaty does have a flank here. If he's able to get that shockwave onto Sindelian, that will be massive here. Look for it, look for it. Do you feel it, Finnick? Do you feel it in your bones?
Here comes the curtain call back into the ultimate of the Malphite to get a GA, and now FLXG, they find Fat and Sweaty. Fat and Sweaty gotta go golden as MF finds the bullet time. He's able to get one kill, but Fat and Sweaty's down. Here comes the Olaf, though. Popping the Ragnarok, he's able to get one kill, and now it's a triple kill for the Misfortune. As Sindelian, he's the last one of his team alive, and there's no way to stop this from going down. Team 2 should be able to grab victory here and go on to the grand finals.
God, and it's definitely a a hard-fought grand finals entry here, Finnick, because we honestly felt like that should have been so much sooner, but Sindelian and Jisoo were able to stall it out for so long. PhD in the top lane able to set up his team so well. In the end, though, it doesn't even matter. That's going to be the inhibitor, or sorry, Nexus turret. This is going to be the Nexus here. To put it in play-by-play terms, that is all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, that fight looked like it started to go in favor of Team 3, but the second MF pulled the bullet time trigger, just everyone died. I think maybe positioning mistake, but really, Peachy in the top lane was the first one to fall that fight. That's not even positioning. That's just 4-item MF stat checking you.
God, and that shockwave to get onto Sindelian was absolutely colossal. It did also help that only 2 enemy members have that Elder Dragon, but no. Narratives. Either way, though, still 32, almost 33 minutes here. We're just 3 seconds shy of 33 minutes here, Finnegan. That's honestly probably about 5 to 8 minutes longer than we thought the game would take here, with just how massive of a league Team 2 got. Of course, some of it might be is probably attributed to the stalling power of Team 3. I don't know why I'm tripping up on my words, but hey, I guess Hypecasts do that to you. Either way, though, Team 1 will probably be looking at this in the grand finals and going, scratching their chins and noticing, like, we can make them have issues closing out games here if they have that dominant lead. We have beat them once before, and we can probably do it again here, especially with this forward intel.
Yeah, that's going to be a BO3 after this break. But first, of course, we have to take that break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. That'll be the grand finals after this short break. See ya after the break. I said break a bunch of times there. Bye-bye. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals. My name is Finnick, joined on the desk today by Gofarino. We are into the first game of this best of three between Team 2, coached by B-Roos, and Team 4, coached by Fruitcake. And we are already into the pro draft. It kind of started without them asking for production ready, so we're already halfway through. How are we feeling thus far as we're into the third pick red side?
Well, the thing is, because it also caught us off guard, so we're having to process all of these. It's not like we saw this and then we're like, all right, let's just wait. But the MF Seraphine here for Team 2 once again definitely worked out for them in a bit of a Poggers way in that bot lane. Although this time we will be seeing the Nidalee versus Graves here in the jungle, which is always an interesting matchup because both of these junglers farm very hard, have a lot of that early game dueling potential. Of course, though, the Nidalee very early game hyper focused due to the fact that Nidalee does not bring a lot in team fights here. So I'm wondering if the Nidalee Seraphine Misfortune is probably going to be like a little bit of a long range comp, a little bit of a pick comp here so far in the workings here for Team 2. Either way, though, Team 4, I mean, you got Graves, you got Ornn. That's very thick front line here, Finnick. Graves just like the DPS power farming counter jungling monster with like 4 different builds in the jungle. We're talking about how Team 4 do kind of favor him, and the Ornn also getting through. That's going to make the Graves a bit more obnoxious to deal with, and Ornn always as obnoxious to deal with. That's me flying through these first 3 picks, however, though, and we are now on our 4th pick because we couldn't even touch on the bans here with just how off guard we were.
I mean, Cyberdinger, Katarina being banned away, as well as the Shen. Those are all picks we kind of touched on. Ones you want to ban away from Team 2. Orianna and Aatrox as well. The Orianna being banned away did very well last game. Pantheon, Malphite, Leona, Thresh, Nautilus. Lots of support bans going over towards Team 4, as I believe it is their support player. Hawkus is Challenger. Malphite is the only non-support ban coming in from Team 2. They pick up the Syndra as the Bard be picked up for Hawkus to go with the Jhin. So once again, MF Seraphine versus Jhin Bard, but this time, Bard in the hands of a Challenger player. Renekton might be blinded here for Team 2, though. Or it's not blinded, it's an Ornn. It's not blind, it's an Ornn. I'm dumb.
Okay.
It's the blind Syndra.
Okay. That
set, though.
Finnick. Either way, though, oh wait, no, it's set. So,
oh no! Oh no! Why?
Oh, the Fizz got through.
No! 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 No!
All right. Well, Syndra's gonna have fun in the mid lane against a Fizz who gets Chum the Waters and one shots her.
The menace of low elo has come back into high elo.
Yeah, there's a reason why he got a hotfix nerf. Was it a hotfix nerf or was it just a regular patch nerf? Either way, though, he did get a nerf just due to like I mean, Fizz does like the new AP Assassin mythics. Night Harvester, of course, very nice on him. That and the Rocket Belt too. You don't see so much of the Riftmaker, I think it is. Either way, though, a lot of one-shot potential coming out of this Fizz, and he can honestly like blow up anyone on the enemy team except for maybe this set here in the top lane. And God, I'm looking at his Team 4 composition here, and while it definitely is a little bit short ranged, once they get on top of Team 2 here, Finnick, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, the bot lane matchup is the same as we saw last game. But I think the rest of this comp is much more straightforward than what we saw from Team 3 last game. You have clear engage potential with the Ornn, as well as disengage with the Bard. You have this skirmish potential from Fizz that can get up all in your face, as you mentioned. And I'm not exactly sure how exactly you peel the Fizz if you're Team 2. What are your thoughts?
It's going to be sucked to be whichever Team 2 member has to eat that Chum the Waters here, because I am honestly trying to figure out what Team 2's composition does here this time, because obviously last game, while we did show some concerns about how they would set it up, there was definitely a clear identity of they wanted to get that big wombo combo. They wanted to start and end a fight very quickly. However, though, I don't know how you're going to be doing something here with Nidalee, Syndra, Seraphine, Misfortune, because the Nidalee, of course, wants to get going early, and then the Syndra, Misfortune, a little bit more mid-gamey. The set also kind of mid-gamey. It's hard to kill here for the Team 2 composition. It feels like, you know when an unexperienced person tries to make a casserole Finnick, and they're like, I'm just going to throw a bunch of crap in a pan. I'm going to put some, like, butter in there and hope it comes out well, and then put cheese on whatever comes out afterwards. I feel like Team 2 is a little bit of a casserole, or a nuke casserole composition here, because I'm not entirely sure what they want to do here.
I mean, you got a little, you got a little macaroni, perhaps, with the MF. You know, that's kind of like, it holds everything together, not necessarily focus point the comp. You got perhaps some bacon, maybe, with
bacon and
with the set potentially able to help set up for the Misfortune. Some nice cheese with the Seraphine, and then you have Nidalee. And Nidalee's like adding like apricot or something, right? Like, you're not sure if it's gonna work. It could work, and if it works, it's very delicious.
See, of course, this is a little bit of a hindsight is 2020 observation here, but had this Nidalee been an Olaf like it was the last game, I think this Team 2 composition would have fit together much more better, because you can have that Syndra potentially set up a fight with a multi-person stun. You might be able to have that set up a fight with a really good showstopper there, and then just have the Misfortune, have the Seraphine be able to AoE down the enemy team while an Olaf just wails away at them. But I don't know. Granted, though, we're kind of looking at Team 2 a little too much here. I think we should, press F, pay a little bit of due respects here to team number 4 here before we get into game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Let's kind of go lane by lane here, though. Starting in the top lane, it's Ornn into the set.
That is true. That is a statement.
Everyone, okay. We've seen this matchup a million times.
You're just like, it is Ornn into set. I'm like, all right, what are you gonna say? All right. But it's a classic season 10 matchup that we saw a lot during the spring split. Basically, both of them have their advantages. Both of them don't mind this matchup too terribly. Both of them can kind of win this matchup until at least late-ish game, where the set should take over. Of course, though, it has shaken up with the changes of preseason 11 here, I should say. So there is going to be some new things added to this classical matchup mix. However, though, the Ornn will be providing a lot of utility to his team, giving him those Ornn upgrades, and especially if those Ornn upgrades are giving them a little bit of extra tankiness here. Like, let's say it's going to be a shield below Graves here. Let's say it's going to be a Bard and Fizz who gets some extra health from their mythic upgrade here, or Finnick. Then it's going to be harder for Team 2, of course, burst them down. And I'm thinking Team 4, they're just going to be opting for a little bit of more long con, I guess. You have Graves, you have Ornn, who want to carry out the fight a little bit more.
Yeah, that said, though, we're going to have to go to a spectator delay, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain League of Legends Scouting Grounds. My name is Finnick, joined on the Decided by Goferino. We had some technical difficulties and thus are only able to show the game starting from the 4-minute, 17-second marker here. But for the time being, at least, only one kill has happened as Silver Dream ends up not dying under tower to the tower dive. Excuse the stream quality, though. This is we had some slight technical issues getting into
Slight
lobby
scuff.
here, and this is extremely scuffed for game 1. It'll be better for games 2 and eventually 3 if we get to that point. But Team 2 currently ahead by 1,000 gold at the 5-minute mark.
So I am getting some confirmation from viewers that the stream is lagging.
Yeah, that's don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. Just want to let you know because I can downsize to 720 if needed. But yeah, like we said,
I mean, you can do that if you think it'll be better.
We can try that. Honestly, it should be calm here.
Let's do that.
Bit. Okay, where do I change that setting? Because I am not an expert at this. Uh-oh. Am I just gonna have to stop the stream in order to change it?
You should be able to just change it to 720p. Excuse us as we run through technical difficulties. We'll head back to break real quick, and we'll be back in. Sorry about that once again, and we're still lagging. Crap.
Yeah, I think that's just Discord streaming. Because I'm streaming to you and then you're streaming off of me, which I think might be causing the issue here.
Perhaps, but we'll try getting it to work. Unfortunately, this is just one of those cases where when one thing bugs, you have to try the backup. This is a little bit smoother. I think it'll be fine. We'll be fine. Anyway, welcome back. Dragons, currently none have been taken, but one's being taken by the Graves here from Team 4.
May have a bit of a setup here in the spot lane, though. Okay, no, they're just recalling. Graves, though, picking up this early dragon. Not too surprising, given Graves kind of being, a strong power farming jungler and able to solo this dragon so relatively easy early on, even with just a pickaxe and the little mini red smite. Sadly, the scuffing is affecting our brains here a little bit since, trying to figure out everything and get it running here in like an acceptable manner.
Hey, but it's fine. It's fine.
At least we're
it'll be better for the next game, and hopefully League client doesn't bug out on me again.
Hopefully.
Everybody's favorite spaghetti code. It's Riot. Spaghetti code.
Yeah. Although still a relatively calmish game outside of that one kill. Even with that one kill, though, technically a dead even game, more or less, unless we want to factor in this one ocean dragon. So at least it's been calm. At least it's been forgiving for us here while we catch up as caster curse kicking in. After I say calm, there's not a lot of calm going on there.
No kills. Shock, though. Gets a nice facebreaker haymaker on the Silver Dream, but is one tanky boy, and the stream just cut out for me on my end.
Wait, really?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can fix it here, maybe.
Okay, because it says my stream's still running on Discord. Here, I'll just pause so we can figure this out.
Discord streaming, it's so jank.
I even have Nitro, and there's only one other roommate using the internet on my 400 megabit download Wi-Fi. Well, Ethernet.
I would say restart the stream here one more time. We'll hopefully things are better.
Sorry, viewers. Just
NA production. NA production.
All right, I'm gonna try directly from the client, but it doesn't show me anything. Okay.
Wait, we good. Let's do it. Unpause it.
Cool. Because when it shows in the Discord streaming preview, it's like a completely black window. So I'm like, what? Do I just have to share my screen? Never mind that. Pockus, he's almost dead. He's practically dead. He is dead.
Yeah, Doubtful picks that kill up. Not very doubtful how well he's playing the Sinoli right now. 2-0-0. Gracebreaker hits on a Silver Dream, but he's able to make out of that one with the Bellows Breath. But Cinder presses R, but Fizz, he's here! Nah, Fat and Sweaty picks up the kill with Q.
Oh, all right. Yeah, and that's kind of big here because we're on. Never mind that. There's the
Showstopper, Facebreaker. And Bellows Breath to mitigate some of the damage there. Indigo going to flash bot side, though, as Call the Forge God gets channeled top. Bacchus, though. Let's find Jizzult. Finds the stun up against the wall. Back into the Deadly Flourish. Jizzult's all right. Shock, though. Gotta be careful about Brittle Procs here. Takes 2 tower shots. Flash in with the buffer on the Haymaker. But he can't get the kill. And now Silver Dream. He's doing all right.
Man. That's one way of saying it. Doubtful 2-0 on this Neely as well, which is a scary prospect because he straight up rushed his Zonias here this game, which I definitely kind of like looking at the enemy team composition because it's going to help you further your early lead because you can go in, instantly Zonias in these skirmishes, and then all your teammates here have the burst to finish it off. And I can get, oh my god, that is a chunk, you funky monkey. Either way, though, Doubtful, of course, though, since he did go for the Zonias first, it is going to stall out on that all-important mythic that everybody loves talking about. So we'll see how it shapes up here, Finnick.
Indeed we shall. But until then, Swifties, be the name of the game for Pockus. The very fast Bard, and in fact, Jin also with the Swifties here.
Yeah, the Swifties rush on the Jin. Nothing too unusual, although I guess wanting to have that extra mobility to dip and dive out a potential double upsetting or potential Seraphine drop the beat setting. I believe that's what her is called. I'm still learning her ability names, except for
it is beat drop. It is beat drop is her E. Encore is the ultimate.
Okay. Yeah. Which is really weird because like
bugging out again.
Oh my god. Because you would never mind that. Doubtful is getting hit up by the curtain call here. Gonna be able to dodge out most of that in the trouble, however. Going back to that Discord streaming point, never mind that. Fat and Sweaty's caught out here. There's the Cosmic Binding. There is the carrot.
We can't see you.
What? It says I'm still streaming.
You know what? You know what? Discord streaming is dumb. Fine. It's fine. Just restart it. Cry.
Again?
Yeah. Gonna cry.
Because I never have this issue when other people stream. Why is it when I stream, it's all of a sudden like, you know what? No.
Scuffed NA production. I apologize to the TOs. Dragon being taken, though.
And that is going to even up the dragon count here. Oh, no, Bacchus. He might be caught out here. Misses the stun. Gonna have to magical journey on out and should be fine here.
Indeed it should. But at the moment, Protoss taking this bottom tower. Indigo's around. Looking for a Deadly Flourish, but dissuaded a bit. by the hail of bullets, as it were.
Alright, I'm going to quickly Google how to make sure Discord stream keeps going, so...
Silver Dream. Top side, just trading out with Shock. As the Graves is currently sitting around in the top jungle now. Making his way out.
Still though, I mean... Definitely at least somewhat calm.
Now, I mean, so Nightingale's going for Leandry's Torment here. Or Leandry's Anguish, excuse me. Not something I typically will see on a Fizz. Especially against a team that doesn't really have any true tanks. I'm like, it's going to be a Triforce on Shock, so he's not even going for a tankier set build. Thoughts?
I mean, the extra mana is definitely going to be appreciated. Having the extra ability haste is also going to be appreciated, just to be able to spam that Chum of the Waters. However, though, I definitely got to agree, because Night Harvester and the Rocket Belt are just really strong on Fizz. So,
I mean, like, to be fair, like, I'm an Anivia player. If I were up against this comp, first of all, I'd be going Phase Rush because I hate Syndra. But second of all, I would be going for, actually, not even Landry's. I personally, on Anivia, would be going for Riftmaker as a set falls in the top lane. So, like this is just a game where you're just not against a team where Leandry's is good, I think, on any mid laner. Charmlance, though, on a Pocus. He, barely able to get out of that one, as Grolt now has to flash out of the way. Xmas gets killed in a Jizzle, as Fat and Sweaty finds a kill onto the Fizz. The collateral damage going to be a swing and a miss, as Fat and Sweaty he's doing all right.
You know what else is also missing is Google search, because I'm not getting any possible fixes for this issue, which is really nice.
Yeah, you know what? We will. The thing is, it's only for one game. Got at least one more game tonight, potentially two. Rift Herald in the bot lane going to be popped. Facebreaker as well. As TP gets channeled, Hexmist getting some damage, and here comes Silver Drain, though, off the TP. Not have Call of the Forge God. TP being channeled now from Fat and Sweaty onto the bottom side of the map. As Pocus is around.
Man, don't you love it when you Google a problem and then an answer to a completely different problem shows up? Because that's what I'm getting right now. Really great stuff.
Even better when you're on bonus points if the solution on Stack Overflow wasn't for the problem you were having, but it sounded like it was.
Yeah, I get that a lot. That's a good stun. Nightingale, he's in trouble.
Has to try to make his way out, and he will. Thunderheal going to be blown from Indigo to make sure the Fizz stays alive, but Protoss down to bullet time as the next objective spawns in 55 seconds. That ult will not be available, but they will have Unleashed Power, and they will have Showstopper.
Which will be a big deal here, since it is going to be that Earth Dragon here in 40 seconds, the first of the game, and both these teams can look to forward their lead in picking up these dragons, which will definitely be kind of nice. Still, though, I kind of want to see it happen first, because we did voice our grievances with Team 2's composition here. Team 4's composition, definitely a little bit more cohesive in what they want to do. They kind of want to kite out. They kind of want to then all in after they've gotten a little bit of juice going in a fight. However, though, I don't know if we'll get that exactly during this fight, as Shock, he does have the teleport to answer to this, whereas Dream does not. So this is going to be free pressure in the top lane here, Finnick, as Team 4 looks like they're wanting to start up this dragon.
They're being very slow about it, and in fact, they can't really go much faster because it is Jin Grace. TP being channeled from Shock. Nightingale Gets chunked out quite a bit. Doubtful going in. Dragon still goes over to the red side, though, as we see the showstopper Haymaker combo. He's able to get so much damage in his Protoss. Finds a kill onto the Fizz. In the meantime, Doubtful now on to Hexmith. Hexmith spots collateral damage, trying to get damage onto the backline of the fight. But in Silver Dream goes. Going to go unstoppable, but he will end up falling very low. As Hexmith gets taken down. Curtain Call not going to be able to find too much damage. They get the Dragon, but they lose 2 members. Baron is not spawning for another 2 minutes, though.
It's going to be a question of what can Team 2 get off of that, because obviously they do get the immediate bonus in those 2 kills. That is nice gold to have. However, though, of course, that Mounted Dragon is going to outvalue that as we go on longer and longer into the game. So I'm looking to Team 2 here to try and get some advantage off of that. They're definitely going to be getting a lot of damage onto this mid-outer turret and a decent chunk onto this bottom inner turret, but nothing concrete quite yet here, Fennec. Team 2 just using their advantages to set up for later to get even more advantages if they're able to.
That said, Luden's Tempest completed on Fat and Sweaty on the Cinder. He's doing fairly all right at the moment. And Zonya's into what's most likely going to be a Hextech Rocket Belt, actually, from Doubtful.
Silver Dream might be in trouble.
Shocks around. Down. Into the Facebreaker, into the Showstopper, into Silver Dream trying to make his way out with the E, but the damage is already there. Shock picks up the kill.
Hi, ho. I didn't know we're doing a little bit of a
I don't even know what the melody to that was. I was just musical number.
It does go with the vibe. Either way, though, it is definitely great that Shock is able to pick up that kill, because having that extra gold for him to deal with this Ornn in the side lane is going to be very much appreciated. And you don't want all these kills to be going to Nidalee, since, Doubtful already having literally half of his team kills with those 4 kills under his belt. Not what you want to see on a Nidalee, unless that Nidalee can giga hyper abuse that lead, which he's definitely doing so far to a degree. However, though, you really want this Syndra, you really want this MF to be getting some kills, and then, of course, the set to be picking up some here and there, so he's able to be a threat to the back line.
So this is not Triforce completed on set. What item is this? It's one of those season. Yeah, it's one of those items I never see.
Yeah, I can hover a
Stride Breaker.
Yeah, because that's the one with the active, which gives you the small dash, and then it gives you the slow FT.
It's one of those items that I just don't see. Like, it's always Triforce or Divine Thunder.
Block it for
dies to a force shot. I
Oh.
block 4th shot, Curtain Call, get taken down.
You're literally on comms. You can block that so easily.
I don't know,
Why?
man. I mean, people are still discussing this Leandry's Fizz thing. Really, the reason is percent pen's just not great against a comp that doesn't build any MR. Like, getting a little bit of pen is fine, but you're already going to get that from boots. So that's kind of the thing, is like Leandry's in this instance, I feel like there are better items. Like, I think Rocket Belt's good. I think like even Luden's Tempest, maybe, if you really want the mana.
Yeah.
Like once again, like as a Nivea, I would personally be going for like not even like what's considered a mage item. I'd be going for the AP bruiser item, and then
a little caught out. Never mind, it's Shock that's a bit caught out.
Well, Showstopper going to be popped into the roof from Indigo. Shock barely able to stay alive, flashing back in with the Haymaker as Nightingale gets killed on a Protoss. In the meantime, Seraphine pops the ultimate, but he can't really get too much in the way of Charms. Is Doubtful tries to dive his way on Indigo. He will be able to get the kill, but he goes golden. In comes Silver Drain. The stun lands 4 for 1 now as Hexmist is trying to find the kill on Seraphine, and he will. 5 for 1 in favor of Team 4. And as I was saying, I like Riftmaker in these types of situations on DPS mages. Obviously, if this is burst, I would have gone for Luden's. That's me. We'll see.
Man.
I don't know. We can discuss this item later. That was a good fight for Team 4 as they move on to the Baron.
Yeah. Because honestly, that was just Team 2. Like, it all started off with Shock just getting caught in the enemy jungle aggressing. Like, a little bit Pepega, as this Baron is kind of Getting a bit of damage dropped on it. There's the Syndra teleport. They do have responses coming in, but they won't be able to respond to this in time. And there is a Bard portal to just get on out of there.
Now you're thinking
so that's
with
a
portals.
5-for-1 and a Baron here.
Now you're thinking with portals. Wrong game, wrong developer even, but still.
Yeah, close enough, I guess. I don't know.
It's actually kind of funny, I think. Bard doesn't really have a Dodo equivalent. Like, his Q is essentially Wind Ranger Q, but that's basically it. One of the few League champions that I don't think has, like, a direct Dodo counterpart, speaking of Valve. Regardless, blue buff taken here by Team 2. Consolation prize.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just gonna say to describe it, because you get an Earth Dragon, you get the enemy blue buff, alright, it's like consolation prize, but you're gonna be having to deal with that Baron Siege. Of course, you do have the quadruple range champions here. You have only lost that one turret so far, so you can, of course, let this sit out while
Ember Fade on Ninja's ult, though. MF gonna pop the bullet time, gets damage down on a Pockets. Pockets taking out very low. Hex misses on the side of the fight. He's being chased out by Doubtful. Curtain call.
Oh, does Doubtful go?
Zoning as Doubtful flashes over. Gets the kill on the Graves. That's a shutdown. Pockets gets the Q down and will be able to get the kill on a Doubtful. Seraphine, though, he gets the charm down on a Silver Dream, but Silver Dream's already there with the ultimate. And he gets the kill. Nightingale picks up the kill on a killing spree now. And here comes the set going into the backline. He's able to get the kill on the Pockets, trying to find the follow-up damage here. Silver Dream, though, he is taking up the damage, gonna flash forward, gets the brutal proc down on to the Misfortune, and now Shock is all alone. Nightingale is here. Q forward into the W as soon as he can actually ignite. Leandries. No, that was actually Ignite, not Leandries.
We'll call it Leandries.
No, it was Ignite.
We'll call it Leandries.
It was Ignite.
My word is final.
No.
My word is final.
No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
It started off so well for Team 2 there, because they're able to kind of stall it out and then get that massive bullet time. However, though, it just kind of went south very quickly from there on out, because the Nidalee here for Doubtful goes in. Sure, he gets that one execute, but the Zonia's only buys him those 2.5 seconds, because the reason why he has that Zonia's and why I liked it is because it allows him to go in, get an execute, and then by the time he's out of stasis, his team can at least follow up. We did not see his team being able to follow up there, just to how far in he went. So you're trading 5 for 2 here. You lose that mid lane outer turret, and the enemy team should still have Baron buff for a little bit here, but that's still just such a heavy price to pay, honestly, I feel, Finnick.
It is. Baron, though, it has dropped off. Has 3 minutes left on the respawn there. 25 on the Dragon. Both teams sitting at 2 Drakes apiece. 2,000 gold lead, 14-4. They move into this bottom jungle. No T2 towers have been taken this entire game.
It'll change at some point, unless there's a surrender before tier 2 turret falls.
There is no magic resist on the enemy team. Why are you double-teching Pen? I feel sad.
Wait, yeah, why? Because you don't need the... Oh, that's a good stun. Let's see if he's able to get the kill here onto Pockets as the Encore misses.
Shock, though. He's on to Pockets, but Pockets is able to make his way out with the Magical Journey, and that ends the fight. But as you were saying...
I'm sure... people in chat will have some very choice words to say about this, because like you said, there's not really any magic resist at all itemized by the enemy team. Like, there's literally not a single magic resist item here itemized as far as I can tell, unless Imperial Mandate gives MR. Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought Imperial Mandate built out of Aegis of the Legion for some reason, probably because it looks a lot like Banner of Command. Either way, though, you could like make an argument that, like, yes, he is future proofing on this Fizz, because the enemy team will probably build some MR to deal with this 5-kill Fizz, but the enemy team honestly has 4 squishies and then a set who went Bork second. You really don't need the Pen, as there's the Orn Horn, there's the Orn Clap. Let's see what happens here, Finnick. It's gonna be nothing.
Decide against going for the clap. They were a little bit too far back for the engage to happen. Hex missed this around. He has collateral damage, as Nightingale has the shark. The water is available to go. Also, have the curtain call. 27 seconds. Pockets, though. He finds Shock. Shock gonna go ahead and pop the Haymaker. Trying to get damage in. Cinder gets a two-man stun, but here comes the curtain call. Damage going over as Bard was able to save off the fight for a little bit longer, but Silver Dream still goes down. Unable to take down the enemy top laner, but doubtful. He's in the pit. He's all alone. Gonna go golden. Pockets does not have a Q to get him up against the wall. Here comes the Seraphine. He's able to get the charm down onto the Bard as Hexmith picks up the kill out of Doubtful in the side. It's a top laner for a jungler, and this will be soul point for Team 4.
And we see one of the hugest issues. Oh, never mind that. Okay.
Okay, so
but we won't see
Lichbane on the Nidalee. This is going for the full carry build.
But
it's too late.
Yeah, because we saw it in that fight. We saw in the previous fight here, Finnick, where this Nidalee is the first man in. And while I do love the Zonias here, it's going to be able to help keep you alive. That's assuming you have follow-up. We didn't see it in the last fight. We didn't see it in the fight before that. And this Nidalee, we're starting to see it rear its ugly head in terms of team fighting prowess here, Finnick. Just able to, like, kind of kill someone on the enemy team, but not really. And the enemy team's just able to blow you up, and you happen to have the most kills on your team. You still have 6 out of 12 kills on your team, which is something you don't want to be seeing.
FRXG in the chat has a good point, right? Not going with the... Getting the Zonias first is kind of a little bit Pepega if you're trying to go for the hard carry style, right? Like, if you go for the more supportive Nidalee build, I think it's fine. But without the late game scaling, right? You have elite... I mean, she's going for the hybrid build and has got Collector, right? But you're not going outscale this Graves, who's also going for a hybrid build, plus the Jhin, plus the fact that you have an Ornn on the enemy team. It's the Jhin, in fact, going for the full crit build here. The IE, third item after Collector. So, you know, you're getting outscaled. You're losing mid-game after winning early, and now you're down 2,000 gold. Baron has spawned once again, and you're down to soul point. Team 4, they have 2 neutral objectives they can fight around. 3 minutes until the Mountain Dragon, but if they want to force earlier, they can always go on a Baron.
And the Ornn items here that you were mentioning already coming out here for both primary carries in that Graves, in that Jhin, and it's only going to exacerbate this kind of difference here, because Team 2, definitely very early to mid-game composition. It's not like Team 4 hyperscales here. It's just that they can very easily outscale the enemy team. It's just a natural byproduct of having the Ornn supplementing your carries. And then, of course, just having the Graves into Nidalee, kind of a big deal. We'll have to see, though, because there is a lot of posturing going around this Baron. It is a big objective, like you were mentioning, and I imagine both these teams are going to be kind of eyeing that up, as Nightingale might be a little bit caught out here. Doubtful chasing him. Gonna land the spear.
Unfortunately, though, right? Fizz is slippery, and you don't really have too much in the way of lockdown unless you can get a Syndra stun from out of vision. Or potentially an ult. Temper Fate going to go down onto Jizzle.
For the Chum.
Unable to find the Q down, but the fish lands. Charm lands as well. The damage is coming in from the MF. The Nightingale has already gone golden. Now he flashes out of the way. Dream, he's here. Silver Dream gets one. Nightingale gets a kill under the Syndra in the meantime of the fight. Now the root lands onto Silver Dream, but it's a little bit too little, too late. The flash forward, the clap, Protoss dead, and now Jizzle down to 100 HP. Hexmith's going to flash over, and the ace goes over to Team 4. They aren't even going for the Baron here, just going to go for the mid inhibs.
This is honestly just 100% over here, Finnick. Like, they go for that Hail Mary of a fight, knowing that they're kind of down. They don't even take out a single enemy member. It only gets worse from here.
For sure dead there. Oh boy.
They already lost both their Nexus turrets here. They aren't going to be up in time. Like, they definitely had a bit of an early lead here. They definitely got like some very choice kills, but as we saw the team fights break out here, Finnick, it definitely reared its ugly head, to say the least, because God, they just weren't really able to amount to much there in most of those late game team fights. Usually they'd only get like 1 or 2 enemy members in that last fight, not even getting a single one.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where I think, perhaps draft diff, but really I think it comes down to execution, right?
Yeah.
Where you picked the draft that's harder to execute on, and if you end up making a mistake, that gets punished much more than the other team that's easier to execute. I mean, it's an Orn comp. Like anytime you see an Orn on the enemy team, the win condition is pretty obvious. You find a team fight, you scale into late game, even if you don't have great scalers, they still get Orn items. So, I mean, draft diff, but also just like burden of execution was definitely on team 2 there, and they just couldn't find it.
Yeah, I definitely gotta agree. It's a two-frontal assault of reasons: the draft differential and then the execution differential, because they had that 4-0 in Italy. That is a very strong power point. You can look to use that to abuse these lanes, but it just wasn't enough here, really, Finnick, and it kind of showed as the game went on. So honestly, I know like this is always like a big talking point for us here, casters on the desk, that we always say, well, what do they change up going to game number 2? And honestly, team 2, they really got to look at their draft this game, I feel, because it really did start off with that. They kind of pigeonholed themselves into this very hard to execute comp, and a good draft can fix that potentially, maybe allow them to get the reverse sweep here.
Perhaps. It really boils down to, where's their mental at as well. Because it's like, sometimes you want to go for the salty run back, because you're like, we could have executed on that better. I know we can execute on that better. Let's do it again. Sometimes, right, if you have a good early game and a bad late game, you're like, give me harder carries, right? And then you go for a different type of draft where you kind of focus around a single carry instead of secondary win conditions, right? With that Syndra pickup, right? 1 into the counter pick of the Fizz. Perhaps they go for something else there. We'll see how they adjust. But before that, we're going to go to a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more of the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. Don't touch that browser. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds. My name is Fennec, joined on the desk today by Gopherina. We're into the grand finals, game number 2 after Team 4 took down Team 2 in game number 1 in a slightly scuffed production, but we're going to get back to normal. Slightly. But we're going to get back to normal here. What do we make of game number 2 potential here?
I mean, I kind of outlined... I think we outlined a lot of what we feel already. That was a two-front combination of both the draft diff and the execution diff going on in there. Granted, I do feel that Team 2, they do really need to tighten up their draft this game. They do need to have a much more cohesive draft identity and figure out what they want to do besides, like, I don't know, I think this kind of works. Let's just, let's throw stuff at the wall and, we'll win the game. And they have blue side once again this game here, Fennec. They do have that prio pick where they can potentially lock themselves in that nice little OP comfort pick. And we'll have to see as we are flying through these, pick and bans here.
Yeah, bans very, very quick. Pantheon, Rek'Sai, Malphite banned away by Team 2. Katarina, Heimerdinger, and Shen banned out by Team 4. The exact same opening 3, with the exception of this Rek'Sai, which is replacing a Leona ban from Team 2.
And I wonder if we do see a Leona this game, since when we were going over before this series, you and I here, Finnick, that we were knowing that Leona was definitely a very high prio pick for basically all of the supports here, especially for Team 2. And I wonder if we see the Leona MF combo here potentially. Of course, we can see Jhin Leona too. That's definitely a potent combo. It is going to be Jhin Graves, though. Worked for them last game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But MF Leona here, I'm kind of feeling the magic, Finnick.
Do you believe in magic?
I forget what series that's from, but it sounds so familiar.
It's just a song. You believe in magic of a young girl's heart.
That sounded like the opening to a kid's cartoon. Either way, though,
no.
The MF Seraphine for the third time tonight here, and maybe the final time if Team 2 is not able to get their heads in the game, to quote High School Musical.
The second time we've done this. The second time you've done this.
It's at least been half a year since I made a High School Musical reference with you. Either way, though, the Olaf that was so potent for team number 2 in their series before this Green Finals and the Losers Finals, coming back once again, and definitely a lot of familiar faces here, as in quite literally all these picks we have seen already here, Phoenix. So I wonder what we're going to see potentially here in the second round of picks to maybe diversify a little, throw a wrench, throw a new thing in the mix.
Well, I mean, exact same drafts thus far from Coach Fruitcake, team number 4. Was banned off the Aatrox. If things are exactly the same, they'll ban the Orianna here.
So a confirmation that Rek'Sai is actually a Leona ban. I just noticed it, sadly, yeah. Because I'm used to the...
So this is the exact same draft, except for the Olaf instead of the Nidalee.
Yeah, because I was like, all right, yeah, why aren't they picking the Leona? But, pro draft is pro draft. You're a producer, Finnick. You've probably had one too many instances where the wrong champion is banned and you have to throw random PNG in there of the
we've swapped to draft role, actually.
I see you.
I mean, at least for Upsurge, we're swapping that out for another TO as well. Bard, though, gonna be picked up here for Team 4. Sion being hovered. Because we'll see.
I mean, it would be a battle of the grass procs in that top lane, or you can still flex the Sion/Ornn to the mid lane here in certain circumstances. We don't see it as much anymore after, because whenever we do see the potential to a Ornn or Sion flex into the mid lane, it's usually because their numbers are kind of overtuned that you can have that luxury. However, though, Diana, Team 2, this is definitely a much more cohesive team composition, which is something we wanted to see, because you have the MF, you have the Seraphine to set up a bit that Wamba combo. We can up the enemy backline for the Olaf and Diana to wreck town here, Finnick.
Yeah, and Cass going to be the counter pick there for the mid lane. Something I think worth noting, right, is when you pick a Scion, your biggest threats are always going to be terrain builders. You have Ornn, who's, Scion will deal with them outright,
kind of.
but like your biggest threats are typically Anivia and Jarvan, if either of those champions are meta. Anivia definitely sitting there even after the nerfs. Jarvan definitely not such. But with this Diana pick, you basically say, no, you can't play Anivia. We're forcing you to play a counter pick to this. So they pick the Cassiopeia, and now Scion has free access in these team fights.
And thing is, though, you do have to remember, like, well, yes, we can look at that sign. You have to remember, because you already mentioned that Bard ultimate is able to stall out the Olaf ultimate. If you're able to land that Bard ultimate on both the Diana and the Olaf before they're able to dive in, if there's just a lone Scion in your back line for the Jhin, for the Graves, and especially for the Cassiopeia here, Finnick, to just focus down, they can absolutely mow down and shred through this Scion before the Olaf and Diana can get there. Of course, that is going to be a little bit very execution based for this Bard here, and definitely something we have to keep our eyes on here. Focus, getting the eyes here from the desk. Either way, though, should shape up to be an exciting game here.
Yeah, I think Diana can be a very, very potent pick as well, especially in games where you want to push tempo. You already have the Olaf to do that. You have the MF. He's probably going to go for that hybrid build once again. We've seen that twice already. So when it comes to late game, you're really looking for, your Scion and your MF to get off the ground. You're up against this scaling, though, once again. Ornn, Cassiopeia, two of the hardest scalers in the game, plus Jhin, who's probably going to go for the full crit build once again. But you have a tank, but it's a Scion, and you have a Cassiopeia on the enemy team. So when you look at this kind of the whole picture, when you look at power spikes, I see Team 4 as, all right, we're just going to get to 20, 25 minutes and win the game. Team 2, they have a couple of scalers, but they also have a couple of early game people. Where exactly do they kind of like put the impetus? Where do they aim for hitting power spikes and snowballing from?
Obviously, it's not going to be the top lane here, since it is that Scion versus Ornn matchup. I don't think, at least from my experience, that Scion, even when ahead, has solo kill pressure on that Ornn, unless he's massively ahead. So obviously, you can look to the bot lane here, because if you put Indigo and Poco 6 feet under the ground here, then you have a Misfortune and Seraphine set up to absolutely shred in team fights, because we saw how much damage his bullet times are doing. Now, imagine a 2-ish item Seraphine, even from the support position, landing that Encore. That's going to be a lot of damage, because Seraphine scales up insanely well here, Finnick. And then you combine that with the Misfortune bullet time, that's going to soften up everyone, even the Ornn, granted to a lesser degree, for Fat and Sweaty, for Doubtful to clean up. Of course, you can also get Fat and Sweaty or Doubtful ahead. That is a very strong 2v2 potential with the mid-jungle duo compared to the Cassiopeia Graves, at least early on. And you can look to set that up. If you're able to win that, gain control of the mid lane, gain control of the enemy jungle, that can set you up for the dragons. That's always good. That can set you up for getting a Diana roaming around the map that can kill people. That's also good. So there are methods here for Team 2 to get ahead in this early game, and they do have options.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar to last game, right, where they kind of need to get ahead early and then snowball that lead. They weren't able to execute that in the previous game. However, I think Olaf definitely does a lot better in the mid game than Nidalee does if he gets fed, just due to the power of a certain item named Gore Drinker. We'll see, though. I think if Fat and Sweaty is as good on Diana as his confidence level is, he could potentially win up against Nightingale on the Cassiopeia. But Cass is one of those mid laners that every mid laner at this elo knows how to play, and knows how to play against high mobility champions. That's why we see Cassiopeia being taken into high mobility matchups all the time. Right, Galio I think also works, but it's the Cass pick here. So can Fat and Sweaty find the outplays? Can he actually get that snowball? Olaf has a way to get on the Cass that a lot of other champions don't. But at the same time, he has to be level 6 to really make that gank work. I don't know.
It's definitely a question we're going to probably have to answer once we get into game and examine the intricacies. So I guess we'll just answer that once we get in there, unless you have any more thoughts you want to voice here, Finnick.
I want to see Anivia being played, so hopefully we go to game 3, but I don't have my hopes up. Let's put it that way. I think T4's got the better.
It's always you and the bird, dude.
It's always been the bird.
Co-caster. Everybody, please buy Fruit Loops here for Toucan Sam, aka Finnick.
Yeah, the bird is the best. All right. I'm just happy Anivia is back to not being like she was garbage in season 10. Absolute
we can
garbage.
Save this for in-game. We can save this for in-game, Finnick.
Oh, all right. We're gonna take it to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals. Don't touch that browser. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the League of Legends Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals. My name is Finnick, joined on the desk today by Go for Eno. We're in game number 2 of this best of 3, Team 4, taking game number 1 after a bit of a comeback here, but game number 2, it's a brand new day for team number 2. They've got similar type of execution, but I think a little bit easier here, as I've been forced to shut up about Anivia, apparently.
If she comes up, you can ramble on, but it's just like, because I've had that issue too, because I love rambling on myself. You're Finnick about usually random interactions. And a lot of times said interactions aren't exactly happening because the champions aren't picked. They're just randomly banned. So I'm like, I'll do that. And this goes on for way too long. Either way, though.
Cassiopeia going for the phase rush. Gonna be going Leandri's Torment this game. Leandri's Anguish. They changed the name. No longer has Madness passive. I feel sad. But jungler's starting blue side. Or not blue side, top side, excuse me. So...
That's okay.
It's alright. Take it easy.
We're 3 games in, like...
Graves going for the full clear on the top side as he's playing over towards the Krugs. After taking a red buff. Only got a short leash, though, from the Ornn as Sion barely leashed blue buff for the Olaf. Jungle pathings.
I'm actually curious because I sadly didn't see, but I'm wondering if Shock just did the Decimating Smash and then left, because Decimating Smash as Sion is an extremely Pog champion ability, level 1 for leashing your jungler, because it does massive damage, but then it also knocks up the camps for a very noticeable period of time for your jungler, which, you know, helps them kite it out, take less damage. That's always nice, but that's a small interaction. Graves, on the other hand, though, even though he did get that small leash, is going to be a little bit behind since Olaf, excellent power farmer to match that Graves, and have that somewhat better leash. The Graves will, you know, it's Graves. He has the dash. He's able to just continuously kite out camps and take 0 damage from some camps, I believe, or basically next to nothing, which is something, if I had to interject my personal opinion here, Fennec, and keep this ramble going on, something I would like to see maybe a little bit nerfed, you know, have him actually take some damage from jungle camps.
What? No.
No.
Nah, junglers taking damage from jungle camps? No, that's just asking for too much.
Like, it does take skill, I will admit, because you have to time the dash as well, and of course time your bullets, but still, like, this is just going too much into personal opinion, but I guess since there's nothing really to talk about for now, I can go into it if you don't mind, Finnick-chan. But basically, in my opinion, that because whenever Graves is like remotely meta, he tends to be way too meta since he's able to fulfill so many roles. He's able to be burst, he's able to be DPS, he's able to scale well, he's able to counter gank well, bring so much to the team. Like, he definitely has some weaknesses, but he brings a lot from the jungle role. Having that extra DPS in the jungle role, of course, opens up other options in mid and top lane. Still, though, I would like it if he's tweaked a little. Okay.
Caught up by Hex Miss. Bard can be able to land the stun as well as the ignite, but he's dove under tower. A flash out of the Seraphine, though, and a heal out of Protoss.
That is very big here, because his ult on the Seraphine is very vulnerable. And if we see another play like that happen again, it's going to be very, very tricky. As
Hex Mist is around. Fine, not going to land on a 2, but they get the root down on a Protoss. Hex Mist, though, he's taken out very low. First blood and the dive goes south. Overdream, meanwhile, a little bit early on the Bellows Breath.
You think they're birds migrating down for winter with just how far south that went there, Finnick. Like, they missed the Bard stun from the Cosmic Binding. After that happens, just back off the play. Because you're trying to burst the Seraphine, and you're not able to do that. Just back off. You already got the summoners. You should still have an advantage even with the extra time committed, but no. Just, it's salty run back Ignitus, I guess? No, that's not the proper term. But basically, you know, they're like, oh, we're in too deep. We have to make something happen here. And then it just falls flat on its face.
Protoss, meanwhile, though, fairly happy with that, even though they only got an assist. Getting small leads over against the Gen as I see the back. It's come out from Indigo and Paucus.
Yeah. Thing is, though, Finnick, we also have to consider there are other factors to that. Like, yes, the first blood did go to the Seraphine, but Seraphine, like we said, does scale relatively well. can scale insanely well with gold too. That, and take a look at the jungle CS differential right now. It's nearly 20 before that camp was just taken between these two junglers. That's like a 5 camp differential because of a failed dive attempt. That's going to put this Graves on the back foot here. As
sweaty. Oh, man, that could have been really, really dicey there. If Nightingale decided to pull the trigger on the R, I think that was just a dead Diana.
Potentially, yeah. But this team able to use that prio in the bot lane, thanks to their jungler, who is ahead by 2 levels, actually, through farm alone.
Oh, and now here comes the dive bot.
Oh, Lord.
Jhin, all alone, still has flash, though. Want to be able to use it. Jizzle, I'll be able to find the follow-up damage as Nightingale pops the R mid lane, and unfortunately for the Cassiopeia, Diana was turned away. Protoss and Jizzle taking down this T1 tower. They're able to get 1 plate, should be able to find a second as Doubtful's in the wings.
And, God, this is very, very great psychological play as Shock. He's going to find his Graves. I think he kills him here, though.
Silver Dream as well. Won't be able to find the follow-up knockup, though. Doubtful's just keeping Pockets and Indigo off of this T1 tower.
And I love
just his presence alone.
Like, I absolutely
like Graves should be making something happen here, right?
But he can't.
There's so much time being spent. He just had, like, go mid or something, right?
But he can't. Like, oh, there's the ulti in the mid lane.
Nightingale to go ahead and pop the exhaust, but still gets taken down by the Q. Shock gonna get knocked up by it. Silver Drain looking for the clap, but unfortunately, or the Orin, Shock is all right. This is a very similar start to game number 1, and perhaps a little bit faster than what we saw, but 2,000 gold lead now at 8 minutes for the side of Team 2.
And, man, the mid lane kill is definitely kind of big, because Nightingale had used the Petrifying Gaze there earlier to either dissuade an all-in or try and kill this Diana. Did not work out. Fat and Sweaty able to get the full combo off, able to get the Ignite off too, to finish the kill, and working towards what I assume is the Rocket Belt here, but could be the Night Harvester. They have in fact, the exact same build paths. But either one of those going to be absolutely excellent for getting on top of this Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia hates it when you get on top of her, because she wants you to be in that mid-range Finnick. She really wants to keep a little bit of distance between you and her, much like a certain bird that I had to shut you up about, Mr. Toucan Sam.
I don't know what you're talking about. Also, like, Anivia plays a little bit further forward than Ass, I think. Just a little bit. It's not a lot. It's not a lot further forward, but at least back in the Roa days, she had health stats. And if you... And obviously you can do similar things on Cassiopeia, but in games where Riftmaker is a viable option on Anivia, you can actually position, like, almost bruiser area in fights. But obviously, like, this isn't that type of game. We don't have Conqueror on the cast. Flash taken out of Gizzle.
There's no Encore available.
Yeah, fourth shot not going to hit, though. But that does give a little bit of priority towards this dragon, but it's only spawning in about 1 minute and 3/4. Nightingale, though, caught up by an ult by Fat and Sweaty. Can't find the Petrifying Gaze.
And that's going to be a big trade of ultimates here in the mid lane. I actually want to take a quick peep at just what the cooldowns are. So 100 seconds to 93.75. So they're basically going to be up at the exact same time. However, though, Tempered Fate for Pocus is available here, but he doesn't really have any backup. In fact, quite the opposite, as there might be 3 members here just jumping his ass under this tower.
Excuse you?
Yeah.
Bind?
Excuse you.
Bind? They find 2 plates. 2-man bind lands. Nightingale. Rounds. X-Mist around as well. Shock. Picking up some tower damage. Now finds a Q down.
Oh my god.
Has to dash out of the way.
And taking off half of Graves' health right now is definitely kind of nice. He should be able to regenerate it. Yep, he's already regenerated. Before this dragon spawns, which both these teams are definitely going to be eyeing, even though it is just that singular ocean dragon, it's going to be kind of handy, because An Ocean Dragon against Team Force composition is going to be kind of nice with their DPS to just kind of soften that a bit. And then, of course, Team 4 are going to like that for that little bit of extra survivability on their back line. But the biggest point, of course, is probably going to be for this this soul point here, which is either going to be the Infernal Dragon or my favorite, the Clown Dragon.
Nah. Can't be the Clown Dragon. I mean, it's just it's so good for it's so good for Team 2 if they find a Cloud Drake. Just with the combination of the Scion ultimate being even faster, Olaf being even faster.
Because, yeah.
Diana being even faster, and the follow-up, and the stick to it. Stick to it, of course, of the ult.
There's the Unstoppable Onslaught, and there's the Flash. There still might be some action, though, as the Scion looking towards the top lane. That's the Ocean Dragon started it on up here. With his Graves nowhere near to contested Shock, he is in a bit of a tricky situation.
Gets knocked up in, but he's able to flash over the wall. Now Shock might be in further trouble. Call the Forge God getting channeled. He's able to get the knock up here. Nightingale is around, has the ultimate available. Gets the ground down on a Fat and Sweaty now. Costs the ultimate, but Petrifying Gaze does not connect, and now Fat and Sweaty is able to get out of the way. Shock will end up falling, popping the passive, but two ultimates used by both mid laners, and unfortunately, for the side of Team 4, they lose out on that Ocean Dragon. They're only able to get a Scion in return. Rift Herald going to be spawned mid lane as well, pre-14. Bard goes ahead and pops Tempered Fate on the tower to prevent the plates from going down, but they still have plenty of tower damage, collateral damage. Going to be popped here. Scion lands on the Fat and Sweaty, though.
And
that's a good Tempered Fate.
Yeah. A lot of build. Oh, Lord. A lot of build up there for nothing too much in the end, unfortunately, for you, I guess, since you're play-by-play. But, in all seriousness, great Tempered Fate there, because that would have been first turn of the game. That would have been another 2 plates going over, which would have been kind of a big deal. With all that being said, though, it's obviously just going to be what we saw. All those summoners exchange for that 1 kill, and then Team 2 grabbing that Ocean Dragon.
Regardless, if we take a look at farm here, MF currently up 30 CS and 1,500 gold on the Jhin, constituting about half of the overall gold lead, actually. As the rest of it is on the Diana, who's really just a kill up. CS-wise is about dead even. The Cassiopeia, as well as the plates. So watch out for the MF. She's got the significant lead at the moment.
It's gonna be the noticeable one, too. Of course, though, it is invested in the Monomune, which is still stacking, so it's not the biggest spike yet. It really does have to transform until you get that passive where it applies that extra bit of damage. And then you'll start noticing. And of course, with the Quiver 2 right now, probably going to be kind of noticeable with this blue buff being contested. We saw what happened last game, though. There's a lot of thirst over the blue Jivy Golem.
Regardless, Shock getting clapped. Top side. Silver Dream's like, yeah, I know. I got this thing called Brittle. Flap you.
Mm-hmm.
Little
I
pop,
am
pop.
well aware, because Brittle is like so weird, because they introduced it with Ornn, like, yeah, he is a new CC type. Okay. And then Riot's like, we're not gonna put this on any other new champ. All right, I guess. Okay. You do you, buddy.
I mean, I still think it's better than... I mean, they added a disarm, right, with Aurelia's rework, and they removed it. So now disarm no longer exists in the game. Even though technically it's still a valid CC type. I still think, you know, compared to Dota, which is like 40 different CC types, it could be better.
I'm gonna be honest, I only ever played one game of Dota and I had no idea.
So Dota has like 3 different types of silence, by the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because silence doesn't, and like multiple different levels of dispel. So there's like basic dispel and then there's strong dispel. It's a completely different game by a completely different publisher. But basically what I'm saying is silences are dumb, and the fact that Dota has so many of them is why I don't play exclusively Dota. That's why I play League as well. You know, think about that.
Yeah. I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Regardless, Rift Herald being taken here by Team 2. Should be able to take it relatively quickly with Olaf. Still, you know, only one tower down at the 1622 mark. They haven't really been able to accelerate too much. The 2.5 gold, or 2,500 gold up at the 16-minute mark, but they need to find their mid-game power spikes and utilize them before this Cassiopeia can get off the ground. She got an early stopwatch, so does not have Leandri's Anguish completed yet. Nice bind lands on the shock.
Because, sorry, basically it is definitely going to be a big point of contention with this up-and-coming dragon here, Finnick, because a lot of key items have been completed. We now see that Night Harvester for this Diana on Fat and Sweaty. If he's able to get that massive Moonfall on the enemy team for 3, 4, God forbid 5 members, that's going to be massive with all that bonus damage. And that, and also Team 2, they do have the extra pressure of that Rift Herald. They can put that in the mid lane, force a potential catch-22 here. Silver Dream, a little bit caught out. He is a thick boy, though, as that dragon started on up. There's the Herald.
Oh, Dragon still getting taken over by Team 4, 3-man. Tempered Fate. Here comes the Oran Horn. The charm lands, though, and that will no Oran Horn for you. Silver Dream gonna go ahead and go down as collateral damage. Just pop shock, though. Here comes the ult for the Diana right back into the bullet time, and Nightingale, he's able to go golden. Pockets goes down. Nightingale finds a stun down onto the MF, but he still will fall. 3 for a Drake as Hexmas ends up falling a downfall. Make that 4 for a Drake. Not worth it for team number 4. As
and
Team 2 should be able to push into the mid tower.
Like, we saw a key item differential there in that fight. Like, Team 4, they needed to get that dragon and then just book it. They weren't able to. There was the Scion ultimate, the big old choo-choo coming in. There was the Diana just able to get onto their backline, have that massive Moonfall onto that backline, which absolutely destroyed everyone that wasn't already dead there, Finnick. And 6-1 in kills. They're able to jump up to 3-1 in the tower lead. This is going to be a noticeable gold lead at this point, and this is going to be the mid-game stride that Team 2 is looking to obtain and looking to abuse.
Yeah, and with that, Xmas going to take a red buff. As you do.
Yeah, definitely. Usually, I'm hard pressed to think of someone who doesn't take red buff.
Look. It's a consolation prize.
That's true. And they're gonna kind of want some consolation prizes here if they're Team 4 to just last long enough. Because Silver Dream. Next level, he'll be able to upgrade his own mythic. Then level 14, he'll be able to upgrade one of his teammates' mythics. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes towards Nightingale on this Cassiopeia. And then from there on out, you know, just mythic, upgrade, yada, yada, yada. We all know this song and dance, foreign items. A lot of value.
Yeah, 2 levels until he's able to upgrade the Sunfire Aegis on himself, and then start getting at...
Oh, I thought it was level 13.
It is 14, and then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it says 1 per level for his teammates starting at...
Yeah.
Unless that changed. It's entirely possible that it has. But...
I have a Swarf. Yeah, this is a Baron start. Forget Ornn items.
I mean, Ornn does have TP. Curtain Call goes down. 2-man bind right back in to the ultimate. Unstoppable onslaught available. Seraphine gets a charge down right into the bullet time. Pockets goes down, and the Moonfall lands. 3 kills over to Protoss.
Oh, God.
Oh, the encore bullet time Moonfall combo securing the Baron for Team 2. Woo! That was a wombo.
Finally see the encore into bullet time combo after the entire night here, Finnick, because there's been a lot of good bullet times we've seen, but a lot of whiffed encores. Team 2, they know they have the advantage. They abused that, and it definitely looked a little bit dicey there because they took a lot from the Baron there. They had their magic resist shredded against the Cassiopeia with that fully completed Leandres, who could shred and go to town. But the wombo combo, like you pointed out, kind of killed a lot of people.
Look, womboing too strong. It's you're a womboing, you're a comboing.
All right, yeah, what you said. Still though, because they weren't even able to take an enemy member, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're able to kill them. Doubtful, but
Yeah.
there's still 4 enemy Baron buffs you have to contend with. There is this potential soul point coming up here in 30 seconds that you're gonna kind of want to contend with.
I think
rough.
you can technically afford to seed it if you're Team 4.
If you're confident enough that you'll be able to stall it out, of course, because going into that's going to be kind of hard, as a little bit of finicky going on here.
And Shock's able to, absorb a lot of the damage using Seraphine Shield. Hexmist is around, though. I think they want to wait, though. Baron buff will get this bot lane T2 tower, but unable to get the inhib tower mid lane and unable to get too much elsewhere on the map. So with a minute and a half left on the Baron buff, they're decently good at stalling it out, and they will in fact seed over this Infernal Dragon. So Soul Point goes over to Team 2. 5 minutes on that one, 4:16 on the Baron. Those will be up around the same time.
And Team 4, they're gonna have to get something going in this game by the time those next objectives spawn up here, Fenna, because we can see the classic catch-22 forced out by Team 2 if they want to, because they have that soul point. They can threaten having that infernal soul, or they can just go for the Baron and then trade it for a single infernal dragon onto the enemy team, and they'll just be out 2 dragon stacks, which is like, whatever. Honestly, you don't really mind that. That's obviously a few minutes in the future, though. They still have a bit of Baron juice here, and they're probably going to want to crack open this top inner turret if they can.
25 seconds on the Baron juice. That purple stuff. The good perp.
Kool-Aid. Purple Gatorade. Doubtful. Eating some damage, but not a ton.
Fanta great.
Here's the Olaf. Cassiopeia still really wants to finish that Seraph's Embrace. That's when you're gonna start feeling like Cassiopeia. Obviously, Cassiopeia can DPS right now, can definitely put in some hurt, but over the course of a team fight right now, it won't honestly be enough before this Cassiopeia just kind of gets run over by a Scion plus Olaf and maybe a Diana and then dies.
Rock though. He's alright.
He's all good.
All good in the hood. Last Whisper completed on the gen, actually. Right cloak, so... I mean, it's really just the Scion. Right? Like...
And Olaf, kind of, yeah, because it's going to be great, of course, having that extra damage against targets with more health on you, which should be most enemy team members. Oh. It's just going Gale Force into Last Whisper second is kind of awkward for a Jhin, since he already has trouble killing tanks and you're trying to make it... Oh, okay. He's dead.
That is Moonfall down.
Yeah, but that's a support down.
Yeah.
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 At least Orin items are coming out.
There's level 14. Can they upgrade down onto? So they changed how it works, because it doesn't look like he has an upgrade on Oh, Sunfire Aegis.
No, he does. It's just not showing, apparently, because of the 37 in the bottom corner, I think. Because if you hover
You're right,
over
it says Forge Fire Crest.
Cape.
Yeah, you're right. So you're right, it is 13 and then 14 for the upgrade on the teammate.
Who even knows? Just Riot continuously. Every preseason, they'll do something to screw over the Spectator client and then kind of do nothing about it for the next 3 patches.
Did somebody say you have to move chat off screen for no reason?
Thank you, Riot. Very cool.
Very cool.
I don't mind the new chat too much. Like, it's whatever.
Just let us hide it.
Yeah. I don't think it needs to be
function
changed,
work.
but new one's all right. But yeah, like, if you're gonna implement it, like, because Riot, when it comes to them implementing stuff, they know, like, they just kind of focus on like what it feels like in game, and they don't really give half a squat about spectator mode. That's a good Tempered Fate. Is the Ornhorn gonna land though?
It does, but the golden comes out from the mid lane. Nightingale was taken down very low. Has to back out of the fight. Indigo. A little bit far forward. Hex missed though. Oh, Protoss. Gets the kill. Seraphine. Could be a swing and a miss on the Encore. Doubtful. Goes over the wall. He gets stunned up now. Knocked up by the Orin. Gonna go ahead and pop the Ragnarok. Here comes the Unstoppable Onslaught into the backline. Silver Dream will end up falling. Shock. Gonna flash out of the way of the Jin W. Nightingale's back to full health. Already gotten 2 members, and Dragon spawning in 23 seconds. Baron spawning now. They can just go for the 1-2 punch here.
Honestly, yeah, because they don't even have to force the catch 22 here. They just pick up Baron, recall, and then look towards the Dragon, because the enemy team probably won't be able to contest them too well at the Dragon. They can, of course, go straight to the Dragon after this with how strong they are. They even commit the Scion teleport to this. They want this right now. But will... Because they can't kill the Scion here, realistically. He has the Sunfire completed. He has the stairs. Has the Tablis too, so Graves Jin just gonna kind of tickle him. As this is gonna be sold. If Team 2 is able to pick it up.
Find the route down. Onto Shock. They're trying to press it down. They find it. That's gonna be Soul. Silver Dream in trouble. Nightingale gonna flash out of the way, but he's still taken out by Protoss, and Silver Dream might be trying to find something out of the Olaf, but he ends up popping the ultimate as Protoss is already down into the fight. 3-0. Protoss picking up 2, Diana picking up 1. And that should be game 3.
That has to be game 3. Like, Team 4, like, they had the scaling composition, but they just fell behind too much early on and could not deal with the enemy team's damage here. As there goes the Nexus. We are going to be going to the game number 3, and we do have the hopes for a reverse sweep here, Finnick.
Potentially. I think that was well executed from Team 2. They definitely were like, okay, we have the Snowball Cup, let's actually snowball on it. And they did that very well. Something I'd like to point out, though, is Indigo got Flame Horizoned here. 331 to 218 CS.
Yeah.
Perhaps they don't opt into the Jin MF matchup next game. We'll see how they adjust the draft, but how do you think they're going to adjust the draft going into the next game?
Because it just feels like they fell behind way too much early here for team number 4. Because we saw the Ornn items start to kind of come out, but those carries were honestly kind of a little bit too far behind. They just weren't able to handle the front line. There was a good point raised in chat about a moral shield blow, and I feel like that would have been an excellent item for the Graves, just to have that for the extra shield, for the extra just staying power. Did not see that, however. And I mean, Team 4, we saw them. They sent Team 2 to the losers bracket for a reason. They were able to pick up that game up 1 for a reason here too, Phoenix. So they got it in them. They just got to bring that magic back.
Yeah. They got to bring the magic back. Maybe the magic damage, maybe not. Maybe they do that in the AD carry position. We'll see. But until then, we have to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals.
All right.
Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals. It is Game 3 of the BO3 winner take all. Team 4 on the blue side, Team 2 now on the red side. My name is Finnick, joined on the desk today by Gopherino, and we're in there. We are in there.
Hopefully, hopefully the teams are in there too once we start this draft, because definitely was an exciting game number 2 compared. Well, okay, when you consider the first game and how down their luck Team 2 seemed to be, like there's possibly a bit of a mental roadblock. They couldn't close out any leads they had, but we saw them gain that lead in that game number 2. We saw them close out said lead in that game number 2. So let's see what's different here as we are hopping into the pick and ban.
Yep. Team 4 now on the blue side, so they've side swapped over, banning out the Cat and the Heimerdinger once again. Leona and Pantheon banned out by Team 2. Shen once again by Team 4, and MF this time by Team 2. They do not want to give that first pick over to Team 4, who take the Olaf.
Oh, yeah, that was an instant lock too on that Olaf, recognizing how potent it was, because Olaf can abuse Gourd Drinker very, very well. He absolutely loves the stats it gives. He loves the Mythic passive too. I believe it's ability haste, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, though, insanely good. Team 2 gonna be taking away the Grave Zone. We're gonna see a new AD carry for once in that Kai'Sa.
Yeah, she's all right. Gotta be Kai'Sa Nautilus. It's a classic combination with the Kai'Sa Naut. Aatrox potentially being picked up here for Team 2. If this... No, I wanted to see the Aatrox, because I'm about to say, I want to see Aatrox Urgot. I love that lane. Might actually be Alistar instead, and it will be.
Yeah. Oh, well. Either way, though, like you said, Kai'Sa Nautilus, a classic combo, and Kai'Sa is definitely, I don't want to say an underrated AD carry. It's just more so that teams heavily favor the Jhin MF so much more. However, though, the Kai'Sa has actually cropped up a bit this preseason, because she's able to get a somewhat quick double evolution. Actually, a somewhat quick triple evolution, depending on if you want to go Kraken Slayer Pickaxe into the Nashers, or if you just want to do Kraken Slayer into Nashers / Runons. Either way, though, that's me overanalyzing a champion I play way too much, and I was yelling at you, Finnick, for overanalyzing Anivia. There's the Scion. Once again, that was so successful last game.
Yep. Unstoppable Onslaught, definitely a great ultimate to use. You have Jhin, so you can actually create space for him with that Scion as well. Alistar, also very good at both peel and engage, so I'm expecting to see something DPS, maybe backline dive focus, but perhaps something like a Cassiopeia or an Orianna or something else of range variety coming in from Team 2 to round out their comp. Syndra, though, going to go ahead and get picked up by Team 4, so I'm guessing this will be the Syndra-Orianna matchup, because that is all we ever see. The same as it ever was.
Because we could see some spice here. We saw the Fizz earlier tonight. We could see that again. Oh, wait, Darius in competitive?
Darius and the Scion. I mean, I don't hate it.
Definitely workable, because the Scion definitely has some kill threat in the early levels just due to his absurd base damages. But Darius is just always that obnoxious threat. Like, if there are any top laners right now in Twitch chat who want to vouch for me about how Darius, you just kind of can't really play the lane against in so many circumstances unless you pick very specific champions, which are usually like ranged kiting champions like the Quinn. But either way, though, Syndra Ori, as you predicted.
You see one, you're gonna see the other. It's like when you see an Azir and there's a Corki on the end. Or someone picks a Corki and then there's Azir on the end.
Okay, Corki's not that boring. Come on.
I mean, Azir Corki is boring, not Corki in general.
Yeah.
I mean, Syndra Orianna is boring. Azir Corki is boring. Just the matchup itself. We all know how that one goes. We're not going to touch on that matchup. Let's talk about the Kai'Sa Nautilus versus Jhin Graves, or Jhin Alistar here. I would love to see Graves support. Versus Jhin Alistar. What are your thoughts?
So basically, Jhin Alistar is going to be very bursty, just due to the nature of Jhin. Alistar has to go in, select someone, probably the Kai'Sa, because it's Nautilus is going to be too tanky. That Jin's going to have to land his abilities. He's going to have to land basically all 4 of his shots onto this Kai'Sa, because you want to burst this Kai'Sa, you want to kill this Kai'Sa. Because if you're not able to do that, if you blow all of that and the Jhin has to reload, then all of a sudden there's a Kai'Sa just wailing away on you. Probably, I'm assuming we're going to see Halo Blades this game on the Kai'Sa, because once Kai'Sa procs the passive, that's going to out-damage a lot of Jin's DPS. If Kai'Sa is able to get a lot of stacks on you, then use the Prey Secret W to pop those to get that extra damage. That's going to hurt like a truck, and you're combining that with a Nautilus who, I mean, Nautilus can nearly solo AD carries similar to an Alistar, so it's going to be a bit of a volatile bot lane. However, though, it's going to be Team 2 having the initial advantage in this bot lane for sure, because Kai'Sa is known to be quite a literal scaling champion with her evolution mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, so in the preseason, I've seen Kai'Sa kind of rise in popularity, but I honestly don't think she's as much of a tank shredder as she once was. I don't think Kraken Slayer is a drop-in replacement for the old AP Kai'Sa build, but I want to know your opinion on Kai'Sa, because I've heard things from different people about, she's good, she's bad, she's, wherever. Where do you stand on that champion?
So I spammed a lot of Kai'Sa during preseason in Nexus splits. There is some give and take. Like, obviously, Kraken Slayer's mythic passive is nice for her when it comes to achieving those evolutions. However, though, I will admit, as someone who played a lot of Kai'Sa myself last season, that you do notice the lack of Ginsus, because it's no longer the Muramana into Ginsu's build. It's going to be the Kraken Slayer into either Pickaxe plus Nashers or Kraken Slayer into the Stormrazor / Runons. And you kind of notice that not having the double on hit proc once you stack up that Ginsu's early on. And that was a lot of what helped the Kai'Sa melt a lot of these tanks here. Fennec just being able to do the double proc of her passive, getting that extra magic damage in, being able to get that percentage missing health damage in, is really noticeable. Plus, also then there's also the matter of her E cooldown being double reduced once you fully stack up that Ginsu's. It's been a bit of a give and take. I've had some okay success with Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa quite literally can evolve to whatever item build she needs, no matter what items you nerf, no matter what stats of her you nerf. It's gonna always be what she can really abuse to get that very quick double evolution.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, once again, I don't necessarily think Kai'Sa's bad. I just think she's not as good, right? I think she's good, but not like up against the Scion. Like, she's your only anti-tank damage. Like, I'd much rather have like if I were up against a team with 3 tanks instead of 2, like, I would much rather have a Vayne, right, over a Kai'Sa. Whereas in this instance, I think it's fine. I don't know. That's my take on Kai'Sa.
Because Vayne has also kind of cropped up in this preseason due to Kraken Slayer plus Ginsu's on her.
Yeah,
that's a conversation for another day, though. And even with that, Vayne would have some issues here. Okay, that's a conversation for another day. Either way, though, I mean, Team 4, I mean, they have a Darius going into the Scion in this top lane, so I think it's just going to be more so this Darius wants to 1v1 the Scion and just try and kill him before he can exert that global pressure. It is, of course, going to be hard due to that unstoppable onslaught, so I don't know. Yeah. We'll see here, Fennec.
Yeah, I mean, pre-6, I think Darius wins the lane fairly handily. You already kind of touched on this lane earlier, so I don't want to step too much on your thunder. I just... Scion, he's got Grasp of the Undying, that's fine. It just doesn't do anything against Hemorrhage, right? Like, even using, like, his W as well, it's just like... I don't know.
Facing Darius as melee is kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
Who'da thunk?
Who'da thunk? Who'da thunk? That said, we're going to take a quick break as we load into game, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds Grand Finals, game number 3. My name is Fennec, joined on the desk today by Gopherino. We are into the final game of the night. Winner goes home with the championship proverbial trophy. And Gizold's already got the, or Gizold I should say, has already got the cowbell ready to go.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
This is Alistar.
Like, even though it's kind of an annoying skin, because dung dung dung, but at the same time, it's also really good.
Look, I got a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell. I'm a percussionist. I actually absolutely hate that SNL skit. But, you know, you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it.
Maybe.
Don't Fear the Reaper is also like one of my favorite songs of the 70s.
I didn't know we were specifying our favorite song by the decade.
No. I'm not saying it is my favorite song of the decade. It's just one of my favorite songs of that decade, you know?
Did we actually see this happening?
Please don't. Let's invade.
They're like kind of
It's a
committed
little
to
bit
it already is
hyphy.
the thing.
It's extremely hyphy. Oriana has the inside track, but he's not going over. And hook lands onto Gizzle. Kathy and Rain, follow-up damage. As a round. X missed as well. Might get a reset actually on the blue buff. Fat and Sweaty's on his way over. Indigo is very low. Pockets as well. Summoner Hero gonna be popped. Indigo is down. Falls. And Graves gets first blood. Team 2. Picking that one up. I think after a certain, like, if you're not gonna 5-man invade, you just don't invade with an Nautilus there. That was way too hyphy. Way too hyphy. And now you lose Kaisa, give a kill over to a Graves, like...
Sunk cost fallacy.jpg.
Pretty much.
Like, I don't know how else to describe that. And that's gonna be at least kind of big here, because the Graves getting first blood, that's kind of a dangerous deal since that Graves, we know how well he can scale, how much damage he can output. That and also your Kaisa falling behind this early, having to blow at least that heal, is gonna kind of suck in this lane, because you're already down that level, you're gonna be down a little bit of extra gold, which kind of giga sucks as the Kaisa, who can win this lane potentially if you're able to get those good all-ins, but when you're starting off on the back foot like this, not so much.
Yeah. I mean, Olaf still will out-clear Graves, right? I don't think that's the concern. It's just Graves will hit his levels before the Olaf, regardless.
Yeah.
Just because of the XP he got from the first blood. Yeah. And that means that he's able to gank earlier. Unfortunately for the Olaf, who really wants to, you know, get comfortable before he starts ganking. Cinder, though, getting some of the early prior onto the Oriana, and then Oriana is able to shove back, and then it's Cinder Oriana. We've seen this matchup a million times. Boring. I hate it. You know, needs more Nivea. That was a really good apprehend, actually, onto Shock, pulling him in through the queue. His ult, though. Hex flash forward, back into the knockback onto Pockets. He gets the root, though. His ult down to 150 health. Damage coming in from Indigo. Flash forward. Gizzle.
Oh my god.
Now Protoss, he's on the run. It's Kai's and Nautilus, baby.
And that's kind of pretty poggers here in the bot lane. Of course, the kill not going to Kaisa kind of sucks, but still, the fact that you were kind of down there initially and able to get that dub, that's kind of pretty poggers.
Very much so. I mean, that's just Kaisa Nautilus, though. Kaisa can half-health summon off of Kathy and Rain. Assuming that there's enough CC, and what Nautilus does, right, is gets the pull, then you go into Kathy and Rain, into the root. You can get a Void Seeker in there as well as your regular auto attacks, and, well, that's all it is. About 10 CS lead for Shock, but that's not counting this gigantic wave for Silver Dream, so he'll be able to regain most of that CS.
Huh.
In the top lane.
I'm sorry, I just noticed here the goddess on Kaisa. I'm like, I haven't seen that this preseason.
Anamune Kaisa. I mean,
And Chilly?
I think this is how you go for the full AD build now, if I'm not mistaken. Because before it was Monamune, Guinsu's Nashor's Tooth, right? Or Monamune, Guinsu's Runon's Hurricane, Nashor's Tooth, but now it's not as straightforward. It helps with the mana.
Yeah. It definitely helps, because one thing I will admit when I do play Kaisa and Summoner's Rift is that since I no longer have tier and I'm just kind of used to running in and then pressing buttons, because I'm stacking tier and buttons are fun to press, you kind of notice the lack of mana. Pocus, oh my god, Pocus. He's Pocus, dead as Pocus.
Yeah, just a headbutt and a dead one. But Hexmist is able to at least get the Dragon. Stunlance from Nightingale, but here comes the Orianna Shockwave. Hexmist will fall. Nightingale has to flash out as well. So 2 kills for the first Dragon of the game, but not the best trade in the world. Not the worst trade either. Could have gone much worse.
It could have been worse, but at the same time, giving up 2 kills for a Dragon?
Fighting Sweaty's got to be really careful here, because he's without Shockwave. Nightingale has Unleashed Power up. If he can land a Scatter the Weak, I think this is just a dead Orianna. Doesn't back.
Yeah, potentially. Like you said, it's always a bit of a tricky matchup to get ahead of in that mid lane. Because, I mean, Orianna always has that command protect. Never mind that. Fat and Sweaty is getting ganked on, as there's the teleport coming out from Sion.
He's got Q. He's also got Unstoppable Onslaught. We'll just go ahead and use it now.
No
Back into the Q.
Shockwave.
Gets the knock up. Cinder presses R, but he's not able to get the damage in. His Fat and Sweaty picks up the kill with the QW combo. Hexmist got some damage in. Here comes Pocus. Gets a nice hook, but Shock's still able to get the kill now. He's got the shout down. Pocus very low. Indigo, though, he gets damage on with the Acathian Rain. Fat and Sweaty's dead. TP coming in. Here comes the flash. Here comes the Q, but Indigo's already there. Pocus ends up picking up the kill. Nightingale has TP'd into the fight. Overall, it's a 2 for 2. And we back.
We are back once again after a lot of action and nothing too much else happening after said action here on the Rift, because no real objectives to take outside of the potential Rift Child, but no one really in a position to get on top of that.
Meanwhile, though, bot lane Protoss just free farming. And I'm free. Free farming. He's about 100 gold down, though, on the Kaisas. She was able to get a kill in 2 results. And, she'll be able to farm now. Dragon spawning in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Up, out will be the Cloud Dragon. 10% ultimate CDR. Feels very nice on a team with a Sion and an Orianna.
And Ori. And Jhin. And Alistar. And a Graves.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the ultimates just aren't... It's just like, okay, which team has the more game-changing ultimates? Which generally is the ones with the longest cooldowns. Now, Shockwave actually got a relatively low cooldown late. It gets under a minute, so long as you have the appropriate ability haste. But meanwhile, right, you got Darius, who really doesn't... He loves Cloud Soul, not a huge fan of Cloud Dragon. Just because of the reset mechanic on his ult. Olaf, his ult's on a relatively low cooldown. Syndra as well. It's a single Drake, though. Like, either way. Not the end of the world. Shock, though. A jump back in with Doubtful onto Silver Dream, who has already expended the flash.
And this Darius with only the Hearthbound Axe, really? That's what it's called? It looks like an arrow. Either way, headbutt pulverize.
That's what he's on his way down, though. Protoss getting knocked up. In comes Shockwave. It is not going to get onto anyone. Indigo getting chunked out. Pockets as well, but he's able to flash. Q not going to hit the turret. as Doubtful tries to steal blue buff away in the top lane, barely gets out with the collateral damage. No kills going over, but quite a few summoner spells have been used all over the place.
Man, yeah. Nobody dies, but everybody uses ultis, everybody uses summoners. It's going to result in a Rift Herald, though, it looks like, in a potential later 2 in the bot lane.
Wait, Spectator... Wait, is this the rare directed camera actually showing the take of the Rift Herald? No, it's not. No, it's not. It was showing part of it, and then it got taken. Thank you, directed camera.
I think it's because there's some enemy champions, like, kind of in the area, and I thought, oh, whoa, that's a good hook.
Well, hook into the root, in to go.
All damage instinct, though, so...
Does not have Killer Instinct available, so won't be able to make anything too hyphy happen just yet. Swifties rush on Protoss as well.
Oof. Something we've seen.
I mean, Protoss, you know, living up to his name at the moment, just kind of playing it slow and steady.
For sure.
The StarCraft joke.
I've honestly never played StarCraft, so I'll take your word for
it. All you gotta know is that if you want to go aggro, you're Zerg.
Oh yeah, I know about
if you want to just build your
that's
economy.
A good hook. That's a good. Oh my god, he's dead.
Okay, he's just dead. A Cactian Rain does a lot of damage. Now Doubtful in trouble here. It's a phase rush. Proc now. Syndra is here. Presses R, but Pockets ends up stealing the kill away.
Wave is available.
Should be the Cloud Dragon going over to Team 4. Fanswin able to dodge out a hook.
It's a little close for comfort, though.
Basically, if you want to like spend time building up your economy, you go Protoss. That's all you gotta know. It's all about getting big.
Yeah, and thick.
And if you want your wrists to die because and fingers to die because you want to micro everything, you go Aaron.
Okay.
There we go.
Duly noted. I mean, I don't ever plan on buying or playing StarCraft, so...
Brood War is free to play. You don't even need to download the Blizzard client to play it. You can just download the installer from their website.
Right, but I'm terrible at those types of RTS games on the account that micromanaging like 50 different things at once is just not my strong suit. Plus, also, I don't have like 3,000 APM to justify the carpal tunnel.
I mean, if you play Brood War, it's worth playing through the campaign, I think. Like even if you don't want to play the multiplayer, I think... Like, Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 1/Brood Wars campaigns are both really good. Regardless, talking about MOBAs, Pockets. Gonna find the hook down on a Proteus, back into the knockup. Protoss should end up falling, and Hexmith ends up picking up the kills. The TV gets channeled from Feds when he's able to get the shockwave down on it too, but here comes Indigo, and with the killer instinct, Pockets ends up falling, but Syndra, she's able to press R onto the Graves, but unable to get the kill. Double kill goes over, though, to the Olaf. In the meantime, the Silver Dream is able to get the ultimate down and the reset onto the Graves, or not onto the Graves, excuse me, onto the Orianna. It's going to be 3 for 1 in favor of Team 4, and they're going to push onto the mid lane tower.
And that is a brutal 3 for 1 there, Finnick, because a lot of the people you don't want to be giving kills happen to get kills. The Olaf got a kill there. Has fully completed Gore Drinker now. That's kind of spooky. There's now 2 kills on the Skysa. That's also a little bit spooky. Darius got a kill too, and that's going to have repercussions for the side lane push. But either way, spookiness abound, I guess.
Spooky, scary Vikinger sends axes down the lane.
That's true. God. I hate facing Olaf as an AC, just because everybody just always tells you, oh, just kite the guys diving in. It's like, have you tried kiting an Olaf with base 550 move speed and enough tankiness to survive you?
I have,
also doing more damage than you?
I have, but I play Anivia, so it's easy.
God, it's so fun. Oh, just dodge all the axes. Yeah, I dodged 2 of them, but he landed the other 3 because he just picks up every one he misses and hucks them at me
Just put the wall down. He has to go around the wall.
I'll keep that in mind next time I'm playing Anivia / J480 carry.
Hey, no, don't knock Anivia PC.
Yeah, it has potential. Definitely. Probably.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. The Gravity Falls reference for those in the know. Doubtful, though. But up top lane on a Silver Dream. Dashing in and out of trouble. Silver Dream gonna flash out, but here comes Doubtful. The flash follow-up picks up the kill.
And, oh, that's a good hook, but is it a bait?
Hook into the knock-up, into the Orianna ultimate, but the TP's already here from Nightingale. Kathy and Ray nearly taking Gizzle down without a shockwave available. Can't really follow up, but no available chase as Hexmas does not want to pop Ragnarok quite yet, but instead, Bacchus, he's going around the side of this. Might be looking to push in with the upcoming Cannon Wave. A shock gets damage down onto the tower top side. We'll be able to take this tower. Fat and Sweaty and Protoss, though. Instead, they're going to get dove. Fat and Sweaty does not have Shockwave. Hexmas doesn't even pop the ultimate. Ends up giving the kill over to the Syndra. Indigo tanks up the turret, but should be fine. And Hexmas takes the turret down with his company of friends. And Lion, unable to take the top turret, will be taking the Rift Herald. Instead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just distracted because I think, 3 turrets just fell there in rapid succession, if I'm not mistaken. As Shocky is looking for this Darius, does have a slight advantage, does have the Goon Squad coming with that Gazelle, with that Doubtful.
No! He can't get the ult down, but Doubtful's around. Silver Dream's gotta be careful, collateral damage is available, but Silver Dream's out. Only having to pop the Ghost for the unstoppable onslaught.
Still, though, I mean...
But they saw this Graves top, and they keep on seeing him. 2-man apprehend. Paucus is here. Has the depth charge available in a couple seconds. Silver Dream, though, he's ignited up. Not gonna be blinded. The dragon goes over. Paucus, go ahead and tank up some of the curtain call. 4th shot, not even going to be used. Everyone's out.
Baited and outsmart.
Flash into the hook. They get the root down onto Gizzle. They have the depth charge available, and they will use it onto the Alistar. Gets knocked up, pulled back in by the apprehend now. Pops the ultimate, but ends up falling regardless to Silver Dream and Nightingale. And so what I was saying is this Doubtful being on the top side of the map meant that this was a free dragon, and then it was a free dragon. They didn't even lose anyone for it, and then they got a kill off the back of it.
Man, that's like an insult to injury trade there, because you should have been able to kill that Darius there. He was so goddamn low, but you're just not able to finish him off because the Nihilus is there to help out the homie. And you even lose one off the back of it after you lost what is sole point. Not looking good if you're team 2. Not looking good here, Finnick.
Monamune plus Kraken Slayer. Currently the build for Indigo is Gale Force is completed on Protoss, now having a serrated Dirk as well. I'm going for a little bit of a hybridization, as it were. Collector completed on the Grapes. But, man, this is just a feels bad, man, here. Yeah, you're slowly bleeding out on a team with... I mean, I think Orianna will outscale Syndra, but you're up against the Kai'Sa. Like, no one on your team outscales Kai'Sa. So, where do you get back into this one? You're only about 2,000 down at 20 minutes, but I don't see a power spike where they can outspike the enemy team at this rate unless there's a throw.
It is going to be very rough. You do at least have the benefit of, like, because since the enemy team here for Team 4, Silver Dream on the Darius going for the Flash Ghost, it means you can, of course, always try and just force the side lane situation, then teleport on out to force 5 versus 4's key objectives. it can be a little bit rough to maneuver around, and it does mean your top laner is going to have to take the knee, take the L for the team here, but it's definitely kind of doable here. I mean, they're not massively far behind here, team number 2. They can make something happen here. They can have that amazing fight where they're able to get, let's say, 5 for 2, then get Baron afterwards. That's going to put them in a comfortable position, but that definitely is a little bit of a big if here.
Well, speaking of Baron, Team 4, he's like, I am Olaf. I got a Kaisa coming over. Pops a Void Seeker down, and then a Cathian Rain onto the Scuttle Crab. I know this is being taken, but they melt it just so quickly with Kaisa. Onslaught gonna be popped though. Ultimate was already popping the Nautilus though to keep Downfall out of the pit. They peel off the dragon, but it's Sting going down, and it will end up being taken by the Olaf regardless. He pops the Ragnarok as the kill goes over. The Orianna falls, but the flash of the wall secures the kill into the Olaf. Pockets the next one to fall as well. It's 2 for 2 thus far as Shock loses his passive. Silver Dream is around, but doesn't want to go on a Protoss. 2 for 2, and the Baron goes over to Team 4.
Gonna be honest though, Team 4, that was way too loose there. Because
if you're gonna go for the soft Baron, you just gotta completely pull off.
Like
that could have turned the other way really easily.
Yeah, because it wasn't a smite that killed the Baron. It was either an auto attack or a undertow from Hex, which secured it. Which is living life on the edge. Because if that's a 2 for 2 and you lose the Baron there, that's going to give Team 2 a lot of the life they needed in this game. However, though, thankfully for team number 4, God's plan works out in their favor. They're able to get the Baron. They're able to go even in the ensuing team fight, which is nice for them because they'll have this Baron for the extra stats and the extra pressure for this soul point here in 35 seconds. There's the charge. There's the knockup. Let's see what else happens.
Hex missed. He's got a Gore Drinker. Just apprehend can be popped by so. Inside track has gone over to Team 2. The dragon spawns in 20 seconds. And Fat and Sweaty on out here a little bit. Here comes Pockus. Gets the hook down. Again, finds a root.
This is good
kiting. Disengaged for the most part. Ultimate available on Fat and Sweaty. They get the knock up here from Shock into a 3-man ult. The Ragnarok is already popped. He's able to go into the back line, but he ends up going as the double kill goes over to the Graves. So far, it is 2 for 1. Shock is very low, though. But Indigo is alive.
Might not be over yet, though. Because Shock does have the teleport here. They can force this 3v3 again. Killer Instinct, Unleashed Power, both still available.
Here comes the TP. And now Shock's out of the pit. Here comes Shock. Onto Pockus, getting hooked in. 2-man still lands. Gives ult. Unable to ult as it is down. The dragon will fall, though.
That's what they wanted.
Dashing forward. He's able to get the near side onto Nightingale. The ultimate's not quite there in time. Fat and Sweaty gets a kill on Pockus as Nightingale is in trouble here. Unleashed Power does nothing if it's not up, and there's 2 kills going over. Indigo still alive, though. 550 gold bounty on the head. That is a fat 850 gold to whoever kills the Kaisa.
But Team 2, they're able to win that fight. They're able to take off 4 of these Baron buffs here, Finnick, which is absolutely massive for stuffing any potential advantage that would have been netted from that. They're able to also secure themselves the Ocean Dragon here, deny that soul here for at least another 4 minutes, potentially even more if they're able to get it another end. It's going to give them a little bit more leeway in this game, which they kind of want, because this is still definitely a strong point for them, Finnick. They have their 2 item spikes here coming up for the most part, and those 2 item spikes, they're gonna hurt quite a bit here.
Yeah. Kaisa, though, 4-1-7. Doing all right. Having a decent amount of damage. Murmon is completely stacked up. I forget what art for the item is, so I'm gonna hover over it. It is Recurve Bow. I was gonna say Recurve Bow, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I mean,
gonna be going into Gwynsu's third item here.
Hard.
As we already have an amp tome as well.
So it's probably gonna be the Nashers, which will give the.
Oh, that's right. It's Nashers built out of that as well. I'm dumb.
So yeah, it's a little bit tricky since it's kind of weird. as someone plays Kaisa, because I was just so used to always having that 25 AP from finishing off the Ginsus, but oh, never mind. Silver Dream and a bit of pickle.
Got the unstoppable onslaught, but he's relatively tanky here. Gonna go ahead and pop the ghost out. Full though. Chasing in, apprehend gonna land. Get some hemorrhage in, but no one dies as the collateral damage was unable to finish off Darius. Bot and top T1's going to be traded. Fat and Sweaty might look for Nightingale here. As the ultimate.
That's a good stun.
Nice stun lands though from the Syndra. Graves continues pushing onto the D2 tower with Shock, Silver Dream. Back up to full health. Now it knows he doesn't have to deal with either of these ultimates. Be able to just clear the wave.
So in the end, that technically works out here in the favor of Team 4 because they're able to keep their top laner alive.
Asher 2 completed now for Kai'Sa.
And that's the triple evolve that this Kai'Sa really wants, which is going to be fantastic to say the least. I'm guessing we might see Ginsu's next, although the cloth armor says otherwise. That could be Death Stance, that could be
why not
Runon's. The cloth armor is just telling me it might.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, why is she not going for Runon's here? Why is she buying the cloth armor?
So Runon's benefit is that you can buy the pickaxe, and then with that component alone and the Kraken Slayer, you have enough to get that evolve for the Q. That, and of course, if you want to go the full crit build, that's a lot of damage. I have been mostly trying out the Stormrazor, since even though you have to wait a little bit longer for the BF sword to get that Q evolve, you get the evolve earlier. Never mind that fight breaking out. That's a lot of damage.
With an ultimate. Ultimate gonna be popped by the Orianna as well. They're only able to get the kill onto the Darius as the follow-up damage might be coming in from Team 4. Disengage. Now they're onto the Baron. Darius is down, but you still have team fight ultimates available.
A lot of 5 versus 4. That's definitely something you like
here.
Yeah,
the only ultimate available for Team 2 is actually collateral damage. Every other ultimate of theirs is down. 2-man stun lands from the Syndra. All the ultimates are available for Team 4. They just need to find a re-engage. Yeah, Gizzle's being poked out so hard. Axe gonna be a swing and a miss.
Silver Dream up in about 8. There's the root.
Gets a root down. It's gonna go out of the way, and Doubtful ends up picking it up with the collateral damage. Ultimate gonna be popped though into the Gore Drinker, but he still ends up falling. Double kill for the Graves. As Indigo was able to pick up 1. Now Void Seeker lands. Cinder's around. Silver Dream's back up. Gets the Apparel down onto Doubtful. That's 3 stacks of hemorrhage now. Excuse me, 2. Power is gonna go down.
And this Graves for Doubtful is massive right now. 9, 2, and 4. Level 16. He is the highest level in the game. Which is kind of hard as a jungler, but he is also Graves who can Giga Power farm, so not as hard on him. Granted though, once again, stalling out a potential soul here with this double Ocean Dragon. And Team 2, like, now with these 2 dragons under their belt here, Finnick, it means they can kind of start threatening a soul of their own pretty soon, and quadruple Ocean Dragon plus the soul is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I mean, we do see Thornmail already picked up on Silver Dream here, but we don't really see any other Grievous coming out from Team 4. Meanwhile, Team 2 has the completed Thornmail, not just the Bramble Vest. Oh, well, there's the Flash hook into the ultimate.
Can they secure this?
In trouble here, but here comes the TP. Here comes the Alistar, able to get a headbutt in. TP also being channeled. Pockets is down. 2-man stun lands from the center, but the Shockwave gets onto 2. That's going to be another 2 kills in addition to the support going over. As Curtain Call goes over, they find Nightingale. He's going to be able to flash out of the way after a 2-man stun. Root not going to land from the Jhin. This should be Baron going over to Team 2.
And we see a bit of the issue.
He wants Shock, stun lands. Shock down to half health. Indigo getting quite a bit of damage in with the overpower. Flash forward, Indigo able to get the kill. The Baron is still going to go over.
Oof. Taking it off of one member though, and the member that's most likely going to be in the side lane, is at least the best singular Baron buff you can take off from the enemy team, but still, like, Team 4, we just kind of see every time in these fights their front line gets absolutely eviscerated, since they kind of have to run at you outside of the Nautilus. The Olaf has to run you down. The Darius has to run you down, and by the time they get on top of this Graves, on top of this Ori, on top of this Jhin...
Nothing else, just dead. Yeah. So first of all,
baby.
Collected, baby. First of all, he's also got Mortal Reminder to deal with the Olaf. Like, this Olaf does nothing now in fights. Because he's fighting into a Thornmail, a Mortal Reminder, an Oblivion Orb, and another Bramble Vest. Like, everyone has anti-heal except for the Jhin. So, even if you have Gore Drinker, you just can't drain tank if you've gotten your heal cut down by 60% every fight.
And this front line kind of really needs more armor, feel, for Team 4, because they're going to be eating so much damage when they go, and that's the mid lane turret going to be dropping with this Baron buff. They can look to get more, as Doubtful a little bit caught out, potentially going to use that ultimate to get on out.
Oh, the Jet Charge going to be used. Indigo to go back in with the Killer Instinct and pick up the kill. So they're able to keep the bottom inhib tower from falling, and the mid inhib does not fall. Just the inhib tower. Baron, though, is still up on 3 members for 1 minute and 20 seconds as the ever important Ocean Dragon spawns in 1 minute 50.
Man, and
it is Zonia's completed for Indigo, going into what appears to be a death cap. I mean, you're able to kill the Scion. This Graves, I don't know how they're dealing with them at the moment.
They have to... Because since Darius here for green doesn't have teleport, he has to like somehow sit behind them to get the flank, which is going to be immensely hard. So you have to find a way to get on top of this Graves and then just like kind of burst him out. Because since this is going to be the more DPS oriented Graves, not the more drain tank build Graves, you can burst him out somewhat efficiently, even though he does get like 100 free armor from his quick draw, which is a little ridiculous. Yeah. Either way, though, there's the Hex Flash channel. I don't think he's gonna get anything off of this. So
early Elixir bought and now popped by Nightingale. He has the extra 2 damage for the next few minutes at least, but
there's the all-in.
Finds Protoss, but Protoss is able to stay alive. Nautilus into the back line, able to get a knock-up onto quite a few people as Ragnarok gets popped into the Oriana Shockwave, but he only gets onto the Ragnarok's AD carry, and that is a dead Darius. So now Pockus should end up falling as well. 4 shot splash damage is going to be enough. Hex Mist also dead. And they cannot connect any kills. Kaisa is still alive, but that will be the 3rd Ocean Dragon going over to Team 2. And it looked like it would have been a nice fight. Hexmist was in. He was the only one caught by the shockwave, but there just was not any follow-up. Indigo was too far away. And Team 2 are looking to actually push for the end here. They don't even want the dragon.
I mean, they don't need a dragon. These death hammers are so long, and we saw in that last fight how they're just absolutely able to shred through everyone. Silver Dream just got knocked and popped there. Like,
they're on to the next tower. There's no way they can defend this, but Doubtful, he's so low, but the Nexus, it's also low. They're gonna find it. No, maybe not. Goes golden. Nope. Never mind. Team 2, Coach Beerus's team, ends up being the Chilly Mountain Scouting Ground champions after being knocked to the lower bracket by Fruitcake's team. Wind up getting 2nd place here.
And they get the reverse sweep, amazingly enough, and I guess it was just a draft differential here, Finnick, because that game number 1, it kind of looked like they're just having some issues. They're kind of being a little bit outclassed. That draft was Pepega, to put it lightly, but they're able to turn around. They're able to have more cohesive team identities and able to force the wins here.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the damage graphs, highest damage in the game was Graves at 27.7. Second highest was Kaisa at 27.6. And at 27.2, third highest was Syndra. So two of the top three highest damage. So the top three highest damage in the game was all within 400 damage of each other. And the top two were on Team 4. But damage against Sion does not count as damage.
Because here's the thing, like, that Kai'Sa was just so massively fed, but the Kai'Sa could never actually go in, could never actually realistically pump out enough DPS in fights, because this Kai'Sa had so much threat on her and had to play so careful, because the Nautilus had to go in, had to go engage. So Kai'Sa and Syndra were just kind of alone on the back line here, and they really couldn't do a lot, and it showed in how the team fights ultimately played out.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's Team 2. They're able to win. After getting knocked out by the lower bracket earlier, and with that reverse sweep, they are going to be the Chilly Mountain Scouting Grounds champions. I do not know if they're going to run this tournament format again. I heard mumblings, perhaps next month, but I do not have confirmation, so we will see. But until then, my name is Finnick, joined on the Destiny by GoForino, and we will see you the next time we cast together. Bye-bye. Have a good one.